Da-da-da. Do-do-do-do-do. How's it going, everyone? uh, let's start off with the stream waiting screen of Hutch. Come on. Before we get into it, I need to play this clip. It's pretty funny.
Time for liberals to wake up, motherfuckers. How about this one?
Liberals and progressives to lock the fuck in. A few days ago, I posted this to my story, and it has only gotten...
I feel so unrepresented in Congress because I don't think I'm asking for much. I'm not asking for a lot, okay? I just want some solid...
So this is what Hutch wants. I'm not asking for a lot. I just want some solid. Then let's listen.
I don't think I'm asking for much. I'm not asking for a lot, okay? I just want some solid, comprehensive social democratic policy. You know, I want a very robust welfare state. I want pretty massive wealth redistribution.
Pretty massive.
I want free public college for people. I want to raise the buying power of low-income families in this country so they don't feel like they're just barely treading water. I want a significant shift towards renewable energy. You know, I want a movement that is rooted in democracy, democratic principles, and liberal principles, small L liberal principles. But I don't want any of that paired with like anti-NATO stuff. You know,
Okay, so he's like, I'm all in favor of domestic social policies. But when you start talking about anti-US imperialism, that's where I draw the line. Okay. I just thought that was so good. Let's listen. Okay, come on. Let's wait till we get to the Israel part from Hutch here.
Want my representatives to strongly support defense of Ukraine and Taiwan. I want, I don't want any of the fucking crazy shit. And it's just, I feel like it's so hard to find candidates these days that are like based on progressive policies, but not completely insane.
Based on progressive policies, but not completely insane. Completely insane meaning warmongering, going against China, going against, fighting all of Israel's battles for them. Essentially just like supporting Israel, supporting American imperialism. That's the limit that Hutch wants.
I don't know what's going on with that.
Abolishing police. Oh, that's awesome. ... Yeah, we're gonna get into this. I just needed to pull up a reaction to this from Hutch. Like, of course, he's lamenting the fact that these progressives are winning.
And Goldman in New York 10.
MK Ultra. That's a great nickname. Yes.
We call her MK Ultra. Anyway, so let's just get into this. It has been a while since I've streamed. Trying to get back into it, but there's a lot to talk about. Yeah, dude, whatever about Hutch. Like, that line was just so funny to me. He's like, I want all of these progressive policies. I want people to have wealth distribution. I want there to be like racial equity. But if you're not going to support U.S. imperialism, then I don't want it. Okay, so this is the NPR article. Democratic Socialist oust long-serving Democrat from House re-election bid. They picked Melet Kuros, great name by the way, 29-year-old political newcomer and a Democratic Socialist. Is a Democratic nominee over longtime incumbent Representative Deanna DeGette in the state's 1st congressional district. The race continues momentum for the Democratic Socialists of America. Last week, DSA-backed candidates won 2 primaries in New York, as well as several state assembly primaries. DeGette has been in Congress for nearly 30 years and is a member of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. Quiros argued for a leadership change and centered a platform around working families, establishing universal health care, child care, and elder care. She also committed to not accepting any corporate PAC money. And I think this is like the big thing, right? Because you have, I don't know, the line for me for Democrats is like, you have to be principled anti-capitalist in order to get a lot of people's support. And you also need to be principally anti-imperialism, because those are the main 2 pressures ruining the lives of everyday working Americans. And if you're principally anti-capitalist, it doesn't matter whether you support socialism, whether you support communism, you're going to support policies that help working class people, because if you're pro-capitalist, that hurts working class people. And also just like principally anti-US imperialism is a really good way to get elected right now, because we're spending so much of our resources on needless wars, destructive violence, and yeah, it's just it's a good policy, and it's also a great way to get elected. Republican Christy Peterson, an office manager and accountant at a construction company, ran unopposed. Oh damn, bro. Christy Peterson, she's coming for Milat Quiros. She's coming for Quiros. State Attorney General Phil Weiser heads into November as frontrunner to replace Polis. Okay, so let's just take a look at an interview with Milat Quiros. Milat Quiros' ethnicity. So she was a lawyer, and then she got fired. Is that correct? She got fired for anti-Israel posts. Justice Democrats. I want Face the Nation. All right, let's see. I want to see some like liberal news media talking about her.
CBS News is projecting Democratic.
DeGette and Hickenlooper's biggest haters I met up with didn't like how they haven't done anything for them in 30 years. Well, yeah, that's true, because nothing's happened. You have to at least have the appearance that you're fighting. Like, be vocal, be loud about it, be annoying to people, be annoying to the other side. She got fired for writing a legal letter advocating for the Palestinian cause. Yeah, I need to look at this legal letter.
Socialist
Milat
Quiros has won the Democratic primary in the state's 1st congressional district. The 29-year-old political newcomer defeated 15-term incumbent Congresswoman Diana DeGette. She is now poised to win this November's general election and become the first Gen Z woman in Congress. Quiros delivered a spirited victory speech to her supporters last night.
Denver voters of all ages, of all races, of all religions sends a clear message. We will not wait.
Air horn.
That sound, as I associate that with Gen Z. I know. CBS News congressional reporter.
Torian liked it.
And because he's a member of Gen Z. Yeah, he just did it. He's just like out there. Torian,
oh God, dude, these broadcasters fucking suck.
Hill. Yeah, let's talk about this. How big of an upset are we looking at here? I think I saw a stat that said that Quiros was like, I don't know if she was born or she was like in elementary school when DeGette was first elected to Congress.
Yeah, I mean, a 15-term sitting incumbent, to overcome that is quite the seismic shift, and potentially the political ideology when it comes to these congressional races. It doesn't necessarily spell the same outcome for statewide races, but I think it does, at least for this moment, explain a sentiment to shift the party further left. We also see that Cooper is pretty popular, and I think he rested on his laurels, the fact that he has a larger name ID versus his primary opponent.
She was born the same year DeGette was elected to Congress. Yeah, it's just like the people in this country that are politicians serve way too long as politicians. Like, being a politician shouldn't be a career. It should be something that you hate to do. Like, I know that a lot of politicians on the local level, they don't get as much money out of it, right? And more local politicians, it is seen as more of a civic duty, even though a lot of times they kind of have a full-time career in politics too. But just the idea that like the culture that the Democrats have created for themselves, where I've been in politics for X amount of years, I deserve my time in the sun now. Um, it's not how it should be done. Like you should be there representing the actual interests of your constituency, and more often than not, people just forget about it and they think that they're like rock stars. Gonzalez ran a really good campaign despite having no name ID and no funds. She was letting her DSA status lapse? Damn. I mean, look, it wasn't that far off. She lost to Hickenlooper in a closer manner than DeGotte lost to Quiros. That's 11 points here. I guess not a closer manner, but pretty much the same exact split. All right, let's take a look at her speech. And I do want to listen to her interview too.
I'm Maylot Quiros, and tonight, this victory belongs to every single one of you!
You just can't beat grassroots movements.
Denver voters of all ages, of all races, of all religions sends a clear message. We will not wait! We will not wait to take the fight to Donald Trump and the oligarchy. We will not wait. We will not wait to abolish ICE and pass Medicare for all. We will not wait to put an end to the politics of the past, to get big money out of our politics, and to reject corporate PACs and APAC. And no, we will not wait to end the genocide in Palestine.
Wasn't the core focus of her campaign defunding the police? Wasn't the core focus of her campaign abandoning Ukraine to the fate of Russia? Like, dude, the things that libs are mad over is totally ridiculous. Anyway, I just wanted to make the juxtaposition between this campaign rally with all of the energy and the air horns behind it, with just like the fucking state fair that the Republicans put on for, Republicans.
We have another largely empty field surrounded by...
It's just so fucking funny. Like, you have, DSA, young Gen Z socialists rising to the top, finally starting to enter the institutions of power that this country has, and the people that are in those institutions being wholly unprepared for it and flabbergasted by the rise of the DSA, so much energy behind them. And then you just cut to this, and it's like, here's like 12 geriatrics wandering across a field, drooling as they like stare limply at like a Christian rock band.
And more of these pop-up buildings and a series of booths for cabinet departments. We've got the Department of Treasury exhibiting, the Department of Energy, the Department of Justice, Education, which the Trump administration is trying.
It's so fucking funny. Like, you cannot convince me that there's less than half of the people there are media. Like, everyone here has a camera. Everyone here has like a press pass on them. They're like organizers that they sent to beef up the crowd a little bit. Anyway, you have this ridiculous event as you have the DSA just fucking going off. Like, you can totally see where the energy in this country is going.
We believe that fundamental that Denver has sent to both parties, to Donald Trump, and to the entire country.
Bro, I can't with the air horn. Is this coming out of only one ear?
I want everyone in this room to take just a moment and look at the people around you.
You saw Hassan there? Did you get a picture with him?
Strangers to you just a year ago, just a few months ago.
That's a bit of a better circumstance. When I saw Hassan, it was at Alex Preddy's death. Pretty fucked up.
Next conversation today is with Mayotte Quiros, who's one of 3 Democrats running for Congress in Colorado's 1st congressional district, which is largely...
Why is the camera like above them that they're looking at? All right, whatever. So this was a week ago, so a week before the election, essentially. Number one thing that shines through here is Malotte's intelligence and attention to detail. Huge mistake for DeGette to skip an interview. Skip an interview? Oh, and she was on the Majority Report 6 months ago. We might have to check that out, too.
Denver. You can see our extended interview with Wanda James in the same place that you are watching this interview. The incumbent Democratic Congresswoman Diana DeGette declined to appear and take questions.
DeGette declined to appear. Damn, bro. Damn, calling her out, too. Oh, she didn't show up. You could have just ignored that.
Mayotte Quiros, thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Congresswoman Diana DeGette has represented Denver in Congress for about 30 years. Why should voters fire her and hire you?
Because the Congresswoman, I think, has really failed to meaningfully push the kind of progressive legislation that would make a meaningful difference for working families in this country. She, I believe, has failed to do so because she's taken millions of dollars from Big Pharma, big energy and oil, defense contractors. And Denverites know that the only meaningful way things change in this country is if we have leaders that are unbought and unafraid. And so because she's refused to stop taking that corporate PAC money, I think it's time for a change.
You draw that direct line between the money that she receives and the votes that she casts and the stances that she takes.
Yes.
Lots of people give to campaigns, lots of organizations give to campaigns because they believe in what the person stands for. What evidence do you have that she's changed a belief or refused to take a stand?
What evidence do you have that she's changed a belief? Moza, you're finally catching a live. I'm finally going live. I haven't been live in like years. All right, we're just going to take a look at this real quick. He's like, because the question is, what evidence do you have that Diana DeGette changed her policies because of the money that she's gotten from donors? And it's like, okay, well, she literally just said that she hasn't delivered on progressive policies. So the evidence is there that she hasn't done anything. Maybe you can say that she never was going to do anything, but either way, that's a reason to not have her be in power anymore. So she's raised almost $1 million. She spent $600,000 of that. Where did she get it from? Large individual contributions, 319. PAC contributions, $618,000. 63% of her income from her campaign income is from PACs. So what are her PACs? Damn. Total PAC money, $520,000. Total from individuals, minus 10% cycle. Anyway, what do we got here? Oh, J Street. Okay, that's like the liberal Zionist group, right? Laboratory Corp of America, American Podiatric Medical Association, Sheet Metal Air, Rail, and Transportation. Other physician specialties. These are by industries, but these are like individuals / PACs. Okay, so investors, 31,000 from investors, and that's all PACs. See what other organizations she has. So she's getting a lot of donations from medical. She's getting J Street as her top organization that donated to her. Yeah, a ton of different medical organizations here. Friends of Cancer Research. All right, let's look up let's look up Quiros. Let's play this interview though.
Cash that she's received.
What I identify in her voting record and its relationship with some of the companies that support her is a direct relationship with either advancing their agenda or doing nothing to advance the agenda of working people. So for example, she takes a lot of money from big pharmaceutical companies, from big health insurance companies, and the crowning achievement that she constantly touts is the Cures Act, a piece of legislation that frankly, was just a big giveaway for a lot of big pharmaceutical companies. And Senator Warren and Senator Sanders both said this as this bill was getting debated. And again, she takes all this money from these big pharmaceutical companies that were benefiting from this specific piece of legislation. Another example is the fact that she's voted against cutting the Pentagon budget by 10% twice in the middle of a pandemic when those resources were sorely needed, and she's taken donations from the defense contracting industry. Those are direct connections between her votes and the donations she received.
Just look at this. Individual total raise $380,000. Individual contributions $370,000. PACs and committees $5,000. She's gotten $5,000 from PACs. Who are her top PACs? This is what I want to know. Oh, you say that you're against big money in politics, yet you took $5,000 from a PAC? I can't believe you. Seriously. Top contributing employers. So Terry, I don't even know what these employers are, which is probably a good sign. Show me the PACs. I guess, can we not see the PACs that she has? The details. Top states, top contributing employers. Either way, it's night and day, right? You have $600,000 being raised from PACs. J Street is the top donor to this person, and then she's like, voting against cutting Pentagon funding, voting for like giveaways to health insurance companies. This is why shit doesn't get done.
I don't think I've ever heard you say that the Congresswoman is corrupt. You use kind of a different phrasing with it, but when people hear you say she takes money and then she votes the way people would want her to vote, some people might look at that and say corruption. Yeah. Do you view it that way?
I think the system is corrupted. I think we have a campaign finance system that incentivizes.
This is how you have to say it, right? So Terry's a VPN service. So it's like a YouTube sponsorship. So Terry, hook me up. No, just kidding. Like this is the greatest way to answer this question. You haven't called her corrupt, but like you're insinuating that she's corrupt. Well, she's part of a corrupt system. If we have a system that lets people donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to a politician, and then that politician turns around and passes legislation that's helpful to them, that's basically legalized bribery. Bribery is another way of saying corruption. Like bribery falls under the umbrella of corruption, which is legal here. We have a corrupt system. It's like kind of fucking like pussy shit from this reporter too. He's like, oh, are you saying she's corrupt? No, we're just accurately describing what's going on and why it's bad for working people and real people.
Our representatives to take money from these companies, from these industries, with the expectation that it's going to help them get reelected because that's their number one priority. I think the Congresswoman is doing her best to try and represent the people of this district, but it's not good enough right now. We are looking at multiple crises on the front of the economy, on our democracy, on our climate, and we need representatives that are fighting aggressively to progress our agenda. And frankly, sometimes the thing that corporations and special interests get out of donating to a campaign isn't proactive legislation on their front. Sometimes it's just that they sit there and keep a seat warm.
So I think sometimes people tend to think of the current strife within the Democratic Party as being between centrist Democrats and leftists. Diana DeGette's not a centrist.
Well, that's true. Like, doing nothing does help the corporations that have developed this status quo. Corporations and other types of. I mean, mostly it's corporations, but other types of corruption too. Like, I don't know, people that want to make money by fucking bombing Palestinians.
She's a progressive Democrat. But you just feel like she hasn't been an effective progressive?
Yeah, she is the least effective member of the Colorado Democratic delegation.
Measured how?
By the Center of Effective Lawmaking.
Okay. Congresswoman DeGette says that if Denver...
It's like a gotcha. Oh, yeah, she's like extremely ineffective. And the guy's like, how do you know? There's a measurement that you can take that shows how ineffective someone is at passing legislation.
Her back to Congress, then she'll be in a position to lead the health subcommittee, and she says she'll be able to wrangle the votes for Medicare for all. Do you believe her?
I believe that she'll try, but I don't believe that Medicare for all would ever get passed while we still have a majority of representatives in Congress taking money from big pharmaceutical companies and big health insurance companies that will effectively be legislated out of existence if we get Medicare for all passed.
So you don't doubt the fact that she would earnestly try? Because she says that would be her big deliverable if she's sent back.
And if she were to get it through the subcommittee, that doesn't actually guarantee passage of that legislation. What guarantees passage of that legislation is building the coalition necessary to actually get it done. And the only way we're going to get that coalition is if we vote out the Democrats that are taking money from those industries.
Best I can tell, Colorado has never elected a self-described socialist.
Bro, this is why I fucking love progressives. Because progressives, when they get into any kind of seat of power, they, like, look, she's not even saying any, like, Melek Kuros isn't even saying anything too wacky, right? But they're just saying things that seem crazy to this corrupt system that we've developed in this country. And they're just saying it matter-of-factly. And the idea that we're introducing, the idea that leftists are introducing onto a national stage, anti-money in politics, and just flat out drawing the connections between these corporations are donating to the politicians that claim to be representing you, and because they're donating to you, the issues in your lives aren't being solved because your politicians are taking corporate money. Just by saying that out loud, you can see like how flabbergasted this guy is. He's like, what? You're saying that she's not an effective politician? Wait, but she said she is going to be fighting for Medicare for all. You don't believe her for that? And then he's like, but she is progressive, right? Like, she says she's progressive. Why are you running against her? It's her turn. It's her turn to be in power. And she's just like, well, she's taking corporate money. She's never going to pass this legislation if she's taking the money from the people that she would have to legislate out of existence to ever get these progressive policies passed. And the guy just like can't fathom it. The liberal media is completely inequipped to deal with these talking points from progressives. And I love to see it because this is what you're witnessing right now is a clear shift of the Overton window. And we'll come back to this interview, but he gets angry. Oh God. I like, since we're talking about the Overton window, I just want to really quickly play this little clip from Jesse Waters here, because as the Overton window is shifting a little bit with all of these DSA wins, you can see how far we've slipped into just blatant racism and fascism and a complete lack of any type of connection between yourself and the levers of power in this country. So this is what Fox News is saying. I'm sure you've seen this clip.
Freeze rent. Now no one can afford to keep these places going. And I just found out New York City, half of the city is on Medicaid.
Wow.
20% of the city is on food stamps. 5% of the city lives in the projects. 70% of the city's not white. 40% of the city wasn't even born in America. We are going down.
I love how he like fucking hides his head in his hands, and then he's like, 70%'s not even white. I can't believe it. Like, it's just so disgusting from these people. And Fox News is not doing themselves any favors here. Like, their target audience is geriatrics that are retired and owning homes. The ones that are mad at their kids because their kids don't have enough money to afford to have families. Their kids don't have enough money to buy their own house and get a good job, right? And so their fucking target audience is dying. And this type of anti-poor tirade that Jesse Waters is going on here, and a bunch of Fox News hosts go on all the time, of like, oh, can you believe that like 30% of New York is on Medicaid? That's ridiculous. 20% is on food stamps? Like, if you ever want to win elections again, you're going to have to appeal to people that are on Medicaid and are on food stamps. You're going to have to appeal to people that need a helping hand and a leg up in this country. You can't just sit there and be like, the poors are so disgusting and brown people are ruining this country. Like, once again, he's like, fucking 70% are not white.
Is on Medicaid.
Wow.
20% of the city is on food stamps. 5% of the city lives in the projects. 70% of the city's not white.
I just love that. It hides his head in his hands. He's so forlorn. 70% is not white. 30% are immigrants.
40% of the city wasn't even born in America.
Oh no. Oh, dude. Whatever. Like, yeah, obviously Americans no, gives a fuck where you're born. All right.
Congress, not in the current era with Democratic Social.
Like, what is this pin something for the channel that they're on? Because it looks awfully close to, like, I guess it is 9 News, right? But it looks awfully close to that yellow ribbon that Zionists were wearing. They're like, bring the hostages home.
Socialists of America, DSA, not in the previous heyday of socialist candidates in, say, like 1900 to 1930. What do you say to Democratic primary voters who are not socialists, who are capitalists, and are deciding who to vote for in this race?
Yeah. Well, first I'll tell them that we already have socialism, right? It's in the roads that we drive on, it's in our fire stations, it's in the public schools we send our kids to. What I'm calling for is the same security that we have in those institutions
I'm gonna make
be in our healthcare, to be in our access.
I'm gonna make a UL pin, and it's gonna look as I'm gonna make a UL pin that looks exactly like the Israeli hostage pin. Holy shit! I need to design this now.
To nutritional food, to be in making sure that we have universal child care and universal elder care. We're embarking on a new era right now where AI is going to change the entirety of our labor economy as we know it. And we're not ready. We're not ready for what it looks like when all these jobs potentially get taken away and wiped out by machinery. And if that happens, we need to make sure that people's basic needs are protected. And that's only through programs that would be socialist.
Let's talk about your experience and qualifications to be in.
I love that dichotomy too. I don't know if dichotomy is the best word for it, but the labeling of policies that are going to help people survive in the future as socialist. All of the services that your government does for you that you enjoy are socialist programs. If you want to survive through the fucking like AI tech crisis, whatever the hell that we're calling it, you gotta vote for socialist candidates because it's kind of true, and no one else is out there to actually help you. And even if a Democrat says that they're capitalist, but they support policies that help you, those are socialist policies.
Congress.
I can't get over their floor though. Like, I don't know, this floor is pretty cool. This looks like a fun meeting place, right? You can go do an interview, go play pool. I don't know, this maybe there's a ping pong table back there. It's kind of those chairs look abysmal. I gotta say, those chairs look like shit to sit in, but other than that, cool studio. 9 News. They've got some good a good studio set up.
You were 1 year out of law school at a elite global law firm is how they describe themselves before you got fired for writing an essay that was critical of Israel. You came home to enroll in a PhD program. You've been working at a coffee shop. What life experiences and knowledge do you have to be effective in Congress?
Yeah. Well, the first I would describe as the life experience of just being a young renter in this city, being a tipped minimum wage worker, and Denver is the 5th least affordable city in the country right now. And so experiencing what it's like to stretch your paycheck and try to pay for rent, try to pay for health insurance, try to pay for your car note, all of those things, the proximity to that struggle, I think is something that's important to have when you're going to Congress to represent the people of the city.
Can I ask you a question? You can return to that thought in a minute, but when you talk about knowing financial struggle, I mean, you're knowing financial struggle by choice. Yeah. You are a corporate attorney who's going to get a PhD. Yeah, I have no doubt that you're having trouble making ends meet when you step out of that world, but you kind of chose to step out of that world.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, but I did grow up with the same struggle, right?
Like, dude, what the fuck is this guy talking about? She's like, I know fine. He's like, what are your qualifications for being in Congress? She's like, well, I know the struggles that everyone else is going through. And then he's like, okay, yeah, but like, you could have just sold out and been rich. And like, you could have been like, you climbed the ladder and then pulled the ladder up after you. What? First of all, that's not the fucking question that you asked her. You asked her, what credentials do you have that makes you think you could be like an effective congressperson? And she's like, well, I know the struggles that everyday people face. And he's like, okay, but you could have been rich. First of all, that's meaningless. Second of all, you're basically just being like, oh, well, you could have been a corporate lawyer like a bunch of other Dems, and so what? He's mad at her? Is he like insinuating that she's a class traitor because she was one of the lucky people that could have that like had the opportunity to become, I don't know, like into the wealthy upper middle class? And then she's just like, yeah, but like, let's see what her answer is. But that's a ridiculous thing to say. Like, it's a personal attack. Well, you chose to be poor. That doesn't make her lived experience as being a poor person any less valid than other people. Like, is he saying that since she chose to be poor, then she doesn't actually understand what it's like to live as a poor person?
I immigrated here in '98 when I was a baby. My dad had nothing to his name when we first moved here. And so I watched him and my mom work 2 to 3 jobs at a time. I watched them try and figure out how to stretch those dollars for our rent, to stretch those dollars for me and the resources that I needed. And even when my little sister came. And then I saw him be able to graduate from pharmacy school and be able to build out the American dream that, you know, I'm fighting to make sure that people are capable of having right now. But also, to be clear, you know, after getting fired from that law firm, it was abundantly clear that no other law firm of that caliber was going to hire me either. And I did make the choice to go to a PhD program, to do the work that actually mattered to me. But I think that's the world that I believe in, right? I should be able to choose something that I'm actually passionate about, and to be able to do that comfortably, rather than having to go into a into a job just because that's the only thing that's going to be able to meet my basic needs.
Who in Congress currently would you seek to model your service?
Yeah, it's also basically, he's also basically saying, well, you have to sell out your principles. You have to do a certain job. You have to do like one of the most sought after elite jobs that, you know, only a certain amount of people can do in order to live comfortably. If you don't choose to be a corporate lawyer, then you are going to just starve to death and you deserve it. Like, that's what this guy's saying right now. Oh, well, you decided to walk away from a corporate lawyer position and now you're complaining about not being able to make ends meet? Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself.
After.
I would probably say Representative Summer Lee.
Yeah, who's this
and
Sutton
she's also
person?
made it a big part of her agenda to focus on the money and politics issues. She's introduced the Ban Super PACs bill with Senator Bernie Sanders, and does the incredible work of really staying in her district, staying connected to the people of the city, while also maintaining, I believe, I might be wrong on this, but I believe she has a 100% voting record right now in the House as well. She's committed to the work, and she's committed to actually addressing the root problems.
Sutton.
Who is the most effective member of Congress in the Colorado delegation?
I think by the metrics of the Center of Lawmaking.
No, I want your opinion. Who's the most, even if you don't share every one of their views, who do you think is the most effective member of Congress from Colorado?
Probably Joe Neguse. Yeah, I think he's done an incredible job, not only of just, you know, the work of legislating and getting bills passed, but I think also of coalition building and building relationships within our party and also across the aisle. You know, the ineffectiveness in Congress is directly tied to the decrease in bipartisanship in Congress as well. And I think Neguse has done a good job of trying to mend that bridge.
We have seen in the past couple of years how a small group of hardline ideologues on the right side of the political spectrum can hold a slim majority in the House hostage to extract concessions or to basically gum up the works, and then nothing happens. If Democrats take the House and you win, you would be part of a group of Democratic socialists in the House who similarly could extract concessions or could hold up the entire Democratic agenda. What is your thought process about how that would play out?
That's the goal. The goal is to build out a coalition of members that are committed to these ideas and these policies that are securing the most basic needs for every single American across this country. And frankly, these are the ideals and the values that are of the Democratic base of voters. We are seeing this chasm between the policies that voters actually want to see and the legislation that our leadership is actually progressing. And so I think this is actually a reminder to the party of this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is what our base wants us to be doing. And taking care of that legislation and identifying people that are holding up that that legislation is, I think, the responsibility of legislators that you send to represent you.
So we've seen the way that that actually works in practice, though. It's meant that those far-right Republicans will often vote with Democrats to knock down their party's own priorities if they feel like the solutions being presented are not to their liking. Would you be comfortable doing that if you went to Congress in the majority, voting against some Democrat priorities in order to push them more in line with yours, even if that meant you were voting with Republicans?
I don't think it's a question of, whether or not I'm voting with the Republicans. I think it's a question of whether or not the legislation is something that would make a meaningful difference for working families. If that means voting with Republicans or voting with Democrats, I'm going to do whatever is best for the people of the city.
What is within the power of Congress to do to make life more affordable in Colorado?
What? What is within the power of Congress to make life more affordable? Like, dude, all of these gotcha questions are such bullshit. Oh, do you think that you'd ever vote with Republicans over Democrats on things? And she's like, well, all that matters is making life better. And then he's like, okay, but how can you make life better for people? What can Congress do? The main governing body that passes laws in this country to make life better for people. Tell me.
We could pass universal health care. We could pass universal child care. We could pass housing first measures that would deliver the federal funds necessary to create social housing, to create affordable housing. We could get the federal funds necessary to build out free public transit and high-speed rail across the country.
Like, dude, this is so fucking basic. Invest in infrastructure, give people health care, give people child care. Allow rights for more protected rights for minority groups, allow abortion rights for people. And he's like, what? Wait, the government can actually do things? Like, dude, what the fuck is this interviewer on about? What? He literally just asked the question, how can Congress affect people's lives?
It's not a question of what can we do, it's a question of what will we do. And the political will is what's missing right now, and that's the responsibility of voters to make that choice this election cycle. What
is most within reach and is most obtainable in 2, 4, 6 years?
Medicare for all, without question. I sincerely believe that the last thing Democrats did to meaningfully help working families was Obamacare, and that was a monumental achievement. Millions of Americans got health insurance that didn't have it before.
I'm making a UL pin. And I just love Israeli fashion so much, I'm copying it from this pin. You guys need to tell me what designs you like, though. The problem is this L's backwards. Yeah, we'll work on it. We'll brainstorm this out.
But it was also a Band-Aid for a system that is now still hemorrhaging, and we're fighting for subsidies to be able to stop that bleed. Medicare for all is something that would meaningfully make real relief for working families in this country. And the position that I'm calling for in the next Democratic administration, where we hopefully have a trifecta, is to pass healthcare for all as a package, which would include Medicare for all, which would include canceling all medical debt and breaking up big medicine, a bill that Senator Warren and Senator Josh Hawley have introduced as well. That's how we MAGA-proof our future. Democrats are not going to win again. We'll win in 28. We'll win this cycle as well. But that's just because the pendulum swings. But in order for us to have a lasting impact and make sure that we win in 2032 when whoever fills Trump's shoes comes.
Bro, hide. That's extremely anti-Semitic. This is for hostage cancer awareness, okay? It's not breast cancer awareness. You have to sit down and listen. Listen to the people that are working on bringing hostages back home. There are still hostages in Gaza. That's why Israel bombs them every single day. Okay? Don't be anti-Semitic here.
Into power, we have to make sure that we're delivering for working families and giving them the reason to trust us when we say that we're going to fight for them.
How do you pay for single payer?
So single payer actually pays for itself, right? I think there's a misconception that the healthcare is free, and that's not what's happening. When you pass Medicare for all, you're just cutting out the middlemen that are frankly just making a profit off of people being sick. And when you have Medicare being the most efficient health insurance program in the country compared to all of the other private health insurance companies, this is the most common sense thing to do. It's the thing that every other developed wealthy nation in the country has done. And it's been estimated to save thousands of dollars for taxpayers and to save $2 trillion for the government over 10 years.
You mentioned earlier that you're a renter. Denver is the only large city in Colorado with a majority of its residents being renters, and it's a slim majority. It's like 51%. Do you support rent control, and what role, if any, should there be for the federal government in making rent more affordable?
I do. I support rent stabilization more specifically, and social housing has to be a part of that fabric as well. When we're talking about the issue of housing and specifically homelessness, the solutions that have been identified have mountains of evidence behind them. In fact, multiple countries around the world have instituted housing first. Places like Finland have completely eradicated homelessness as we know it here in this country. And that's because we're doing the common sense thing of giving someone who's homeless a home and not tying it to these other requirements of getting clean or getting a job, but also making sure that we're coupling that with the wraparound services that are necessary, right? The institutions that would give people the resources that they need if they are mentally ill and suffering from any mental health issues. For folks who are dealing with drug addiction, they need specific resources. And a lot of these institutions have been defunded, and it costs something like $10,000 a bed for folks. Giving them those resources and making sure that the people who economically are incapable of finding affordable housing have that social housing as well.
You're running for federal office, not local office, but give me your assessment of Denver's all-in mile-high effort to help people who are living on the streets. It's a housing first model. It certainly has critics, and it has folks.
All in mile high? All in mile high? That's what it's called? All in mile high Denver. Look, I did 2 hours of studying housing policy. Now I'm an expert on urban housing policy. All in mile high, city and county of Denver. If this loads. What is this housing here? Like tiny little housing units? Kind of cool. Key facts. All in Mile High began as a House 1000 initiative when the mayor declared a state of emergency on unsheltered homelessness on July 18th, 2023. In 2025, the mayor set a goal of moving 2,000 people indoors and connecting 2,000 people to permanent housing. It took you 2 years to set a goal of moving 2,000 people indoors after you're like, after you declared a state of emergency on unsheltered people? Wait, that's insane. What were you doing for those 2 years? The city purchased and leased hotels and micro communities to serve as shelters. Okay, that doesn't seem like a buying okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Is buying hotels a good permanent solution for housing unhoused people? Micro communities is one thing, but buying hotels, that seems a little crazy. Like, you just need to build more housing. That when you get down to it, you can buy all the hotels you want. You need to build more housing for people so that, even people that have jobs can afford to live in permanent housing. In my country, we get free land housing if we meet certain criteria. America hates America. Well, that's true. They only got a bed, window, and a bathroom. Yeah, that seems crazy. Like, look, you're talking about moving 2,000 people indoors. I didn't think it meant literally just get them inside any building. I thought it would be actually getting them permanent housing here. The audit found the All In Mile High initiative was insufficiently planned to meet its goals. Yeah, no fucking shit. This resulted in the city underreporting program expenses, not documenting a plan to monitor progress in it. Okay, so this is just a complete mess. Jesus. Damn. All right, so the Denver... Who did this audit anyway? We conducted this audit in response to community feedback and risks. We wanted to assess the management and funding of All In Mile High, including how funds are allocated and spent on the outcomes of the program. So Denver audited its own program and it found it was a complete failure. Okay, great. Is there anything else to this All In Mile High, or was the extent of it, let's buy some fucking hotels and make sheds for people to live in? Give by check. There's just soliciting donations. Mayor Johnson set an ambitious goal of housing 1,000 unsheltered Denverites. Dude, are Americans so are they so pessimistic that sheltering 1,000 people is an ambitious goal? It's 1,000 people. The strategy relies on making temporary housing resources like converted hotels and micro-communities available to people coming from encampments. How is that an ambitious goal? A temporary shelter for 1,000 people is like that's like a natural disaster FEMA site. That's not an ambitious goal at all. Temporary housing and sheds for people to live in, allocating funds to rental assistance and eviction prevention programs to keep individuals and families stably housed. Bro, eviction prevention programs don't help people stay stably housed. That's like a stopgap. That's a band-aid for real issues. That's literally what they're talking about. We're going to allocate funds to eviction prevention programs. Look, eviction prevention programs are fine. They're like a decent idea, but they're not the solution. They're an aid to help. They're an aid so that people get time until they can find a permanent solution to their housing situations. You can't just stop people from being evicted forever. You can add in safeties and precautions around eviction so that people have time to find new housing. They have time to make arrangements and stuff, to work with other government programs to help them find lower income housing. But you need to build housing so that that housing is available for them for when they eventually do become evicted. Transitional housing, converting hotels and scaling the implementation of micro-communities that offer trauma-informed, individualized spaces. Bro, it's a fucking hotel. I don't think a hotel is the best place to get over your trauma. That's mostly where your trauma happens. Wraparound services, comprehensive case management. Bro, nothing in this that I'm seeing is building housing, which is a major red flag. Like, this is fucking horrible. If you want to help people get housing, you build housing. None of these 4 points talks about building housing. Connecting individuals with permanent housing solutions and providing ongoing support as needed. Yeah, this is bullshit. And we know it's bullshit because we just looked at the audit for it. It's complete bullshit. So let's see what Kuros has to say about it.
Who support its aims. How do you assess what the mayor's done here in Denver?
I think what we're missing in the way that Housing First has been done here in the city is making sure that the housing that's being given to people is dignified, right? It's not about just getting a room with a bed and maybe a lock and the key. It's about
dignified and permanent.
Making sure that it's dignified. It's about making sure that it's safe. It's about making sure that the housing that we're giving people, the shelter that we're giving people, isn't just for the sake of it, but to be the foundation for these folks to be able to rebuild their lives as well. I think people think about Housing First as if it's charity, when really it's treatment that's necessary for an ailment. And in order for people to get better, in order for people to truly and fully be living and existing in the city again, they have to have that security of housing. And when it's not dignified, when it's not safe, you don't actually have the security of that shelter.
You pointed to the Finnish model. Is there a city or state in America that you think has done Housing First well?
Not quite. And I think that points to the problem that we've seen when it comes to programs that seek to fix problems like this, that are underfunded and under-resourced, sometimes intentionally, on the Republican side, so that they can point to these programs and say, look, it doesn't work. We have to privatize this model. I think what we're missing when it comes to making sure that we are funding these things efficiently and effectively is our failure to actually talk to the people who are running these programs. It's one of the things that you learn first at CU Denver in the PhD program for public affairs. We rarely ever actually talk to the folks that are administering these programs and talking about what are you missing, what are resources that you really need, what are some staffing issues that you're identifying, what are some problems that we don't even have anything on the books to identify and talk about. Those kinds of conversations, I think, are what's missing for us to be able to do this effectively, and what has been done in Finland, where it has been done successfully.
So we've talked a bit about how you would spend money. Let's talk about the taxing side. Who in America should be paying more taxes than they're currently paying?
The ultra rich. We have not had a fair tax code, frankly, probably since.
As Congress, as a member of Congress, how would you ensure that rich people pay taxes? Is that a power that Congress has? I don't know.
The 50s, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that wealthier people and wealthier interests and corporations have been able to influence the government through their lobbying, through their campaign donations, to get tax breaks or to change tax codes for their own benefit. If we're talking about lost revenue as the tax code exists today, the IRS is estimating that we could be losing as much as $1 trillion in revenue every year. If we're talking about the money that we're losing out on because we're just not taxing people fairly, that's going into the trillions now. And so we have to just make sure that our tax code is fair. And when you have people like Bloomberg, like Zuckerberg, like Bezos that are paying an effective tax rate of less than 1%, when everyday working Americans are paying their fair share with an average tax rate of around 30%, it's not fair, it's not efficient, and it's not sustainable. This isn't just a matter of making sure that our country and our economy functions for working people. Frankly, if ultra billionaires and trillionaires now want to live in a society that's functioning and thriving, they also would want to be paying their fair share too.
When you talk about the ultra rich, I think that allows people to kind of assign their own number to it, you know? I would describe ultra rich as very different than like the top 2% of earners in America who are still making a lot of money. But people who are earning in the top 2% are obviously not in the stratosphere like the folks that you mentioned. Where do you actually draw the line and say these are the folks who should be paying more taxes in America?
I think if we're talking on a federal level, we need to generally make sure that our tax code is adjusted to make sure that it's fair for everybody. So starting at the bottom, we're talking about a poverty level index that hasn't been updated for decades, right? It's currently calculated at the cost of food times 3. It doesn't take into account health insurance or childcare or housing. So if you actually calculate the cost of living in even the cheapest county in the country, the minimum wage should actually be around $21 an hour. So the poverty wage index is actually around $45,000 for an individual person. So making sure that our tax code is fair for those folks, and then just increasing it for everyone going upwards to account for cost of living. But when we're talking about the ultra wealthy, I think we just need to create a new tax bracket at the top for folks that are centimillionaires, for folks that are centibillionaires. Those are the folks that have concentrated so much wealth that frankly, it's not even doing anything.
You're talking about a percentage of the 1% at the top. Okay. Your views on Israel.
Your views on Israel. Okay, what about just this design? I don't know if you can see it. Oh yeah, you can't really see it. What about this one in the bottom right? It kind of has the ribbony swoop to it. I could make it a little bit more pronounced. Let's see. Oop. Just a nice little sideways U. And then it ribbons like this. And then it turns into the L. Huh? That's pretty good in that it could be yellow. Something to think about.
Israel had become a focus in this race. You've called Israel's actions in Gaza a genocide. You've called for an arms embargo against Israel. Would that include the U.S. selling or financing defensive weapons that Israel uses to protect itself against rocket attacks from Hezbollah or Iran?
Yes. Yeah.
It would.
It would. This is the position of a supermajority of Democratic voters. This is a position of multiple members of Congress right now, including organizations like J Street that also agree that we need to end our arming of Israel right now in order to force them to the table so that they can actually agree to deliver.
J Street believes in ending the arming of Israel, but what about the defensive weapons? Now I need to look this up. Remember, the guy that was leading J Street is like, it's not a genocide. That's like anti-Semitic if you call it a genocide. Arming Israel. Reassessing the U.S. April 13th, 2026. Okay, here we go. The war in Gaza, rising extremist Jewish terror in the West Bank, and the U.S.-Israel war with Iran have highlighted the need for fundamental reassessment, the use of American weapons, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Arms sales encompasses the sale of U.S. weapon systems ranging from aircraft and precision-guided munitions to missile defense technologies. Hey! Okay, so they are against funding the Iron Dome. Great. Well, once again, like, J Street's in favor of the ethno-state of Israel.
Audience.
Delivering the aid to agree to dismantling some of the systemic oppression that's taking place against Palestinians right now. This isn't about punishment. This is about making sure that the people of Palestine and people that are suffering under this genocide right now get the relief that they need, and that we actually address the conditions that led to this genocide in the first place.
Why not differentiate between offensive weapons used to wage war against another population and then defensive weapons that are used to protect civilians from outside?
That's such a good question. Why? Sad Palantir noises. Why not differentiate? Dude, like, just pause, reflect upon that question that you're asking, and then say, sorry for asking it. It's blatantly obvious. I'm a moron for not realizing that.
That attack.
I believe that our selling of arms to Israel, defensive or offensive, gives them the cover to continue the genocide that's taking place in Palestine, and now the ethnic cleansing that's taking place in Lebanon. Again, this is a position of a supermajority of voters in this country. We want our taxpayer dollars to fund our resources and programs here in America, not to fund the genocide abroad.
You shared an ad from a progressive PAC that's supporting you that used a derogatory and sexual term for many Democrats' support for Israel. It's one thing to disagree with.
What did, remember the PAC that gave her $5,000, right? Is that the PAC that he's referring to?
Derogatory and sexual term for many
in America, not to fund the genocide abroad.
You shared an ad from a progressive PAC that's supporting you that used a derogatory and sexual term for many Democrats' support for Israel. It's one thing to disagree with somebody's views over a foreign...
What is it, bitch? Please tell me that he's talking about the word bitch. Oh, we're not going to be like these other bitch-ass Democrats and support Israel. Is that what he's talking about? The derogatory and offensive sexual term?
Policy issue, but that's something else entirely to describe them as being subservient or sexually subservient to Israel. Why align yourself with attacks like that?
What? That's entirely different from describing them as being subservient, and then he had to correct himself because he's like, actually they are subservient, sexually subservient to Israel. Dude, it's a fucking attack ad. Have you seen the state that this country's in? You're getting your panties in a bunch over an attack ad? Like, we have attack ads of conservatives shooting at pictures of their political opponents, and you're gonna be like, wow, like, I don't even know what it was. Oh, they're Israel's bitch, and now he's gonna be like, this is you aligning yourself with someone that said they're sexually subservient to Israel. That's too far. You could be politically subservient to Israel, but sexually, that's where I draw the line.
That ad was one that we missed.
Whoops.
We were asked to repost it because there was going to be an anti-war panel that weekend. We didn't catch the language that was on the screen. Had we caught it, we wouldn't have reposted it, and we've since taken it down.
I believe that the ad also suggested that centrist Democrats suck shit. Is that your belief as well? Okay. First time I've ever...
Bro! Oh my god, this is so good. I need to see this ad now. Wait. Is there anyone that has this ad? I need to see this shit. Melat Kiros attack ad. Centrist Democrats suck shit. And he's like, oh my god, we can only have pedophiles in government. We can't have someone... we can't have someone that says that centrist Democrats suck shit. Where's the ad? A new attack ad targeting 1st Congressional District challenger Melat Kiros. No, I want to see the one that targets the centrist Dems. Suck shit. Dude, he's so bad. Yeah, wait, here. Oh, they fillet Israel. Oh, that's what the sexual that's what the sexual innuendo is, that they fillet Israel. They were born in Ethiopia and moved to the U.S. as an infant, kicked off a bid against a get. Where's the fucking attack ad? Kiros published a blog post in her response, criticizing the letter for labeling calls for elimination of the state of Israel. Oh my god, that would be such a travesty. It was nearly a career-ending disaster for the get. Where's the attack ad? Where's the attack ad? Oh. Okay, here we go. Super PACs aiding to get fired back with ads that cited a Denver Post column criticizing Kuros for radical views laced with anti-Semitism. That column referenced a video Kuros posted in March with text saying, Democrats fillet Israel and suck shit. Bro, what the fuck was this? The down ballot? Your Mediaite. Is this the ad? Is this a video? This isn't a video. Where's the video? The post-progressive House candidate posts ad saying first appeared on Mediaite. Is this it? Oh my god. Guys, this shit's not working. Better not be like porn or something. I swear to Christ. All right, this isn't working. I'm sad. But anyway, we got to the heart of it, I think. We got as close as we could. Okay, I guess it's just been taken down. All right, we're done. Damn it. What are the comments? Not acceptable, but no different than what Don McCon says. Another new face of the Democrat Party. Hate and intolerance should be their new motto. So what's the left's most mouthy radical? So what the left's most mouthy radical? I'm sure you have similar or worse radical views and statements on the radical conservative side. Her party seems to have those. Okay. Anyway. Damn it. This ad, it looks good. Okay. So she said so I guess she didn't say it right, but it was in the ad that a PAC made for her, the $5,000 that she got from the PACs.
Or said that in an interview. Let's return to the foreign policy stuff. You've said that the October 7th massacre of Israeli civilians by Hamas fighters was the, quote, inevitable consequence of apartheid. Can you explain what you meant by that?
Yeah. I think identifying what's happened over the course of these events in Israel and Palestine as inevitable doesn't take away the horror and the tragedy from what's taken place, from the innocent loss of life in Palestine and in Israel. My foreign policy has always been rooted in protecting the basic dignity of people, regardless of where they live, regardless of what they believe in, regardless of what race they are. And because of that true commitment to that kind of foreign policy, I believe it's incumbent upon us to actually identify why this violence is happening in the first place, and to understand that certain conditions lead people to feeling like violence is their only answer. And our responsibility is to make sure that we're actually being responsive to the protest and to the resistance, the peaceful resistance that people have. From December of 2018, from March of 2018 to December of 2019, Palestinians marched peacefully almost every single Friday, asking for a reprieve from the apartheid that they were existing under. And over the course of that year and a few months, over 100 innocent Palestinians were killed as a result of that. And that was tragic. And I sincerely believe that we have to heed the words of, President JFK said it himself, those who make peaceful resistance impossible make violent revolution inevitable. That's not to justify what happened. That's not to take away from the horror of it. It's to recommit ourselves to preventing the conditions that led to it in the first.
This guy has like tears in his eyes. He's like, do you see this 9-pin? This was modeled after the hostage pin. The bring them home ribbon.
Said that phrase that you use, inevitable consequence, is not justification for the attack on Israel. Is it a suggestion that Israel had it coming?
No, not at all. It's about understanding the conditions in which violence and war happens, right? Israel is a country that has been accused of apartheid and occupation for decades now, and has been able to resist any kind of change despite all of the frustration on the world stage that people have had for the conditions that Palestinians have been living in. And I hope that as an ally that Israel claims to be, that they would be responsive to our demands to make sure that they change those conditions so that we can actually finally start to the work of peace building and delivering aid to the people in need.
Do you believe that the 9/11 terrorist attacks on America were the inevitable consequence of American foreign policy?
Yep.
I believe that the quote in which that is probably being referenced by, in the context in which it was happening, was referencing a Pentagon official who was talking about the acts that America was taking in parts of the Middle East.
I want to clarify. I'm just asking you about your own words.
Yeah.
Your frame of the October 7th attacks was that was an inevitable consequence for Israel based on its actions. And I'm asking you,
holy shit, this is not a complicated issue. Like, as soon as Trump started bombing Iran, everyone's like, the Trump administration was like, watch out for terrorism. Like, dude, I don't understand how we can live in a country where we bomb other countries and then we're like, watch out for terrorists, and then go on to ask a progressive candidate, do you think that 9/11 was inevitable blowback for American aggression? We're literally seeing it in front of our eyes every single day. How is this a question anymore? It's so obvious. Like, dude, just open your fucking eyes and you'll see that is the case. Imperialist powers have blowback, and that blowback comes from sporadic bursts of violence from oppressed peoples. That's how it works, bro. You're not at 2 years old. You've lived for, I'm assuming, like at least 20 years. Holy shiza.
was 9/11 an inevitable consequence for America based on U.S. foreign policy?
Inevitable in the sense that we destabilized a lot of the Middle East, that forced people to believe that another act of violence was the only response. And again, just like I said before, our responsibility is to getting rid of those conditions that lead to violence in the first place.
You recently campaigned with Hassan Piker. He's got a huge streaming audience. Do you agree with his statement that Hamas is a lesser evil than Israel?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Did you just say, yeah, I do?
The Jewish Community Relations Council wrote you an open letter saying that the way that you talk about Israel, quote, reinforce many of the same reductive and dehumanizing dynamics that are making many Jews feel increasingly unsafe and alienated. I imagine you've given some thought to that letter that you got. Do you think
the spirit of Netanyahu is possessing this man right now?
You're contributing to an environment where Jewish people in Colorado feel less safe?
I don't intend to. That's not what I mean to, and I don't believe that the words that I'm using necessarily do either. I think it's really important that we make clear that talking about the plight of one group does not mean that you're talking against the plight of another group. In order for us to meaningfully get to the solutions that are necessary to end the genocide that's happening in Palestine, we have to center the Palestinians. But I've made it abundantly clear over the course of this campaign, over the course of, the last few years, including the letter that got me fired in the first place, that what happened on October 7th was a horrific tragedy, that what's happening to Jewish people, not just in this country, but all across the world that are experiencing a rise in anti-Semitism as a result of what's happening in Palestine right now is wrong. And we have to do everything in our power.
Damn, bro. Framing the increase in anti-Semitism as a result of what Israel's doing is based. And more people need to do it. Dude, holy shit. Genius response, honestly. Like, I don't care how the interviewer goes or whatever, but just introducing these ideas to more and more people. Oh, yeah, the anti-Semitism that Jewish people are experiencing is because of Israel, is something the leftists have been screaming about for so long. And the media and conservatives have been completely blind to it. Conservatives are just like, either if you criticize Israel, you are anti-Semitic and you shouldn't do it. Or if you criticize Israel, you are anti-Semitic and you should do it. It's good to be anti-Semitic. Those are the two sides of the conservative coin. And liberals are just like, anyone who says that Gaza should be free is a guard in Nazi Germany.
To make sure that Jewish people feel safe, particularly the Jewish people in this city, that, I really was grateful for the opportunity to sit down with folks at the JCRC, and we've continued to have those conversations. And we may not always agree on what to do about how to fix this problem, but I think it's most important in those disagreements to continue to have those conversations.
Their letter specifically said that they weren't asking you to agree, but they felt like you didn't take away their core concern and that you continue to use language that they felt contributed to a lack of safety for people.
Yeah, and again, sometimes we won't agree on what we think certain language means and how describing certain parts of this conflict should not be conflated with speaking negatively against another part of this conflict. speaking about what's happening in Palestine, speaking about what's happening to the Palestinians does not mean that I don't also feel the same desire and commitment to protecting dignity and peace and self-determination for the Israeli people as well. But that's not what's at threat right now. What's at threat is the Palestinian people's existence as they're under genocide. And so, again,
Gordon, I just want to clarify, you don't think that Jews around the world are under threat right now?
No, specifically Israelis is what I said. I'm specifically focusing on the fact that Palestinians in Israel right now do not have the constitutional right to self-determination. That is what stems all of the laws that discriminate, that create the system of apartheid that the Palestinian people are existing under right now. And what I said in the letter that got me fired is what I still believe today. My hope is that we can work together to build a region where Palestinians and Israelis can live peacefully, that can live under a government that treats them all equally and ensures that each of them get to experience and enjoy the land, which does have a uniquely Muslim, uniquely Jewish, uniquely Christian character, and to do it peacefully and coexisting.
And that letter's still posted. If people want to read your words, they can go back and they can read your words in full. A last question on this. There's a debate within the Democratic Party and elsewhere about what is anti-Semitism and what is anti-Zionism. That firebombing attack in Boulder on the group of peaceful protesters there that were protesting in support of the Jewish hostages being held by Hamas, was that firebombing attack on them an act of anti-Semitism?
I don't know what was in the heart of the perpetrator.
Was it a hate crime? Like, was it ever legislated or not legislated? Was it ever played out in court and determined that it was a hate crime? Fire bombing attack, Boulder, Colorado. I don't know. I feel like it's fine to say if he was convicted of hate crimes, then it's probably anti-Semitism, right? If it wasn't convicted of hate crimes, then it wasn't. A man accused of killing one person and injuring a dozen more. Mohammed Sabri Solomon faces a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. Pleaded not guilty. He's an Egyptian. Damn, bro. He had to whip that shirt off. It was a horrific attack. He's pleaded not guilty to federal hate crime charges. Prosecutors are not... Okay, but how old is this article? June 1st, 2026. Time magazine, 1 year later. They were not soldiers. They were doing what free people do. People often ask me, okay, what's the actual result of this guy's trial? On May 7th, I stood in the courtroom. He was sentenced to life in prison. Okay, for what charges, though? You chose to victimize people who were peacefully gathering together. You chose to victimize these people because they were members of the Jewish community. You chose to victimize it. What was his defense? I mean, honestly, this probably was like anti-Semitism, right? This isn't really a politically motivated attack. He was sentenced to life in prison. Bro, this is crazy, though. Like, sometimes I watch those videos that are like, oh, what? Look at this police interrogation and this person who threw a boulder and it crushed the skull of another person. He gets like 6 years in jail. This guy gets life in prison? Like, this is actually fucking crazy. Our justice system is so screwed up. I'm not saying that he shouldn't get life in prison, but the idea that this guy gets life in prison and then, like, I don't know, an 18-year-old who premeditated a murder gets like 12 years is nuts. He threw 2 Molotov cocktails. So he pleaded not guilty to federal hate crime charges. Also, the fact that we have the death penalty in this country, I think, is insane. Authorities say Solomon threw 2 Molotov cocktails at demonstrators and a pedestrian. They injured in the attack and then died. Solomon is an Egyptian national. Investigators allege he planned the attack because he wanted to kill all for a year and was driven by a desire to kill all Zionist people. Speaking to the court through an interpreter for nearly a half hour, Solomon offered apologies to the victims and condolences for Diamond's death. There are no words that can express my sadness for her passing. He said he wasn't asking for leniency at sentencing for his convictions in state court and wants prosecutors pressing federal hate crime charges against him to seek the death penalty. If I went back, I would not have done this, as this is not according to the teaching of Islam, Solomon said. What I did came out of myself and only myself. I mean, yeah, I don't know. He probably would. Let's just be honest, though. Like, if we're going to pretend like this is, he targeted specifically Zionists, this man probably would have targeted any Jews at a gathering that he saw. If he's planning to do this crime for a year, he's not planning to do it at specifically a rally for the hostages, to bring the hostages back, right? Probably would have just done it like at a synagogue. It happened to be a Jewish gathering. I don't know, man. But once again, what was this violence caused by? The violence was caused by Israel's actions. So as Melat Kiros, I think, really put it well earlier, that, Jews are experiencing violence because of Israel's actions around the world. That's the same case here. No, I don't think IDF members should get the death penalty. I think they should be put in prison for their lives.
Traitor.
Dude, the idea of the death penalty is fucking stupid. First of all, people can rehabilitate. Second of all, if you're talking about like a utilitarian aspect, why would you kill them when you could essentially get free labor forever until they die? Like, yeah, put them in fucking life in prison. Death penalty is just moronic, in any way you look at it.
All I know is that he went and attacked innocent people because of what they might have believed. And I don't even know what the people that were at that protest believed too. In fact, most of them were probably just there to, ask that the people who were kidnapped during October 7th be returned home to their families. That's not a political statement in and of itself. I think the fact that we're having a conversation about whether it was anti-Zionism or anti-Semitism is, a political debate that, I think everyone has the freedom to have, but to me it was a loss of innocent life, regardless of what the perpetrator had in mind when he took those lives. Matters less to me than, our responsibility to making sure that people understand that even in the face of these kinds of disagreements, that violence is not the answer.
But you would not describe it as anti-Semitism?
I don't know. I don't know what his intentions were.
Let's talk about immigration. You've called for ICE to be abolished. How would border security work? Obviously, CBP would still exist in your world. Is that okay? So CBP would still exist on the borders. How would interior enforcement in America work if ICE was eliminated?
The same way it worked before ICE existed in the first place. This was an agency that was created in the aftermath of 9/11, at a time of fear, but also at a time of Islamophobia and discrimination that was taking place. And we saw in the early stages of ICE that they very much targeted Muslim and Arab Americans because of where that fear was coming from. This isn't a question of how do we protect our borders. That has to be a priority of our country and the priority of Interior and CBP. This is about making sure that we are not weaponizing an agency against innocent Americans, multiple of which are citizens and shouldn't have even been under the jurisdiction of ICE to begin with.
Who should be deported from America?
Anyone who violates our immigration laws. That being said, our immigration laws are antiquated and broken. And as an immigrant who went through that process with my family, as someone who is in a family of immigrants who are going through that process right now, it takes too long. It takes too much money. It takes too much resources. And frankly, that's just because of our inability to fully fund the immigration system in the way that it needs. We need more immigration judges. We need more caseworkers. We need more people at the border. And our responsibility should be to make sure that for folks who want to come to this country and be Americans, that it's a seamless process for them to be able to. And for folks who get through that process and become Americans, if they commit crimes, and they go through the criminal justice system just like anybody else. Anybody who's going through the system as well, it should be the same case, due process in those conditions. If there are specific immigration laws that as a country we want to decide on that would warrant deportation, then that's what the legislature is for, and that's what conversations we should have as a city and as a country. But the way deportation is taking place today is a function of how broken our immigration system is.
If somebody who is here and is a non-citizen commits a felony level crime, should they go?
If they're a non-citizen not going through the immigration process, then yes.
Okay.
Not going through the immigration process. I don't know, man. I don't really agree with that. Like, who should get deported? I guess if the only crime you did is is an immigration crime, like if you overstay your visa, then I guess get deported. But if you like murder someone, why are we deporting you? Why wouldn't America just put you through the justice system and put you in prison and then deport you after you get out? Like, if you're an undocumented immigrant, go to prison if you murder someone. I don't think that's a hot take. Yeah, and then obviously, like, our immigration system's completely fucked up, but the idea of deporting someone's kind of weird. Like, why are we? I don't know. Guess I'm just fucking stupid, but I guess I'm just like, I believe too much in law and order. I think, call me a socialist or a lefty or whatever, but I think if you kill someone, you should go to prison for it. I don't know. It seems like an interesting concept for Republicans. That just, they're like, I'm too racist. I don't care enough about law and order to actually adjudicate crimes. Let's just put them on planes. And it is a very fascist thing to be like, oh, well, this whole group of people did crimes, instead of meticulously going through and trying them for their crimes and then making them serve the punishments that we're giving them. We're just going to deport them. Well, she said, like, basically she said, if they're a non-citizen, if they're going through the immigration process, then they should be deported or whatever. She's like, if their application is pending still, then they should go through. But I don't know, man. I feel like you should just be able to, get an immigration status and then live in America if you wanted. I haven't really heard any arguments that are convincing of why immigration is bad in this country. Like, sometimes you get journalists and they go down to a village in Texas and the mayor of the village is like, oh yeah, like there's so many migrants coming over and it's destroying our village. And they're like, oh no, what's happening in your village? And they're like, well, there's like garbage everywhere. Like, okay, pick it up, get the people that are coming here to pick up their garbage. Like, is that an argument for, preventing people from seeking opportunities in this country because there's like Snickers wrappers on the ground or something? Like, pick up the fucking trash? Or because there's like people that don't speak English in the country. Wow, that's such a burden for you because there's people that don't speak English here. Oh, I wonder what the fucking solution to that would be. Like, get some fucking translators. I don't understand. Unless you're racist, then I guess I understand that argument. But like all of these arguments that they try to use to justify it, to pretend that they're not racist, isn't convincing at all.
The technology and surveillance company Palantir suddenly left Colorado earlier this year. Mm-hmm. Some people cheered their exit. Some people were upset about it. How did you feel about it?
I was excited to see them leave. Palantir is a company that's made it abundantly clear that they have every interest in embedding itself within the United States government, taking as much of our data as possible and using it for their own benefit. I believe our privacy is paramount, and Palantir is a company that stands in the face of that.
Are there any other companies with a significant presence in the Denver metro area that you would similarly like to see go? There's certainly other, there are defense contractors and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Lockheed, Suncor, multiple. Yeah.
Lockheed Martin's a significant employer in the Denver metro area.
Oh, all of these companies that are destroying the world, those are significant employers. Wow. Okay, well, maybe we should do industries that don't fucking suck the blood out of this world. just to feast on its corpse.
I think almost 15,000 people you'd like to see them go.
The dialogue
I
leaks?
sincerely believe that
No, I haven't
companies that profit off of war are not companies that we should seek to promote and grow, right? I want to see a world where war doesn't exist anymore.
Lockheed's employment in Colorado, their employees, no doubt would say that they profit, or their business is protecting Americans and their interests. But you don't believe that that's the case?
I don't believe that.
Bro, we literally just established that American imperialism causes violence to Americans, including Israeli imperialism causing violence to Americans. And now you're like, but Lockheed manufactures weapons that protect Americans, so why are you being unpatriotic?
It's the case, no. If Lockheed wants to continue into other avenues or industries that don't profit off of war, I'd be happy to see that, though.
2 more questions for you. If Democrats win back the House, there's going to be significant pressure to impeach Donald Trump. Do you think that would be a good idea?
Yes.
I think the President of the United States went online to Truth Social, I believe it was, and called for genocide of an entire people. I think that's an impeachable offense, and I would vote to impeach him.
Congressional races obviously focus on federal policy, but they involve highly local interests. District 1 is Denver almost entirely. Is there something that you would seek to do for Denver specifically, not federal policy, that you'd seek to do for Denver specifically that Congresswoman DeGette has failed to do in her almost 30 years in office?
I think something, and I was actually just on Colfax today at a meet and greet, I think I would fight for federal dollars to make sure that the project on Colfax gets done speedily and quickly so that we can support all the small businesses that are really struggling right now.
So you're on East Colfax. I mean, those are federal dollars behind that project.
Yeah.
Just not moving fast enough, or not supporting the businesses, or tell me.
Not enough.
Okay.
Not
so
enough.
you would seek to bring additional federal dollars in to get the project done more quickly and so forth.
Absolutely.
Okay. Malat Kiros, thank you for your time. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for having me.
Damn, bro. And the comment section is... Number one thing that shines through is Milat's intelligence and attention to detail. Huge mistake for DeGette to skip an interview. Well, the number one thing that would shine through for DeGette is her, let's just say, like, okay, I was going to say lack of intelligence, but I don't know her. Maybe she's smart, but probably her inauthenticity. So that's why she didn't skip it. I think Kyle is ultimately doing her a service by giving her real challenging and contentious questions. Thank you to whatever slanderous ad introduced me to her. I'm so proud to vote for her. One of the best candidates I've ever seen. What were you guys talking about with Kyle? I thought you were talking about Kyle Kalinske, but he was implying that she's anti-Semitic. Okay. Damn. People are not happy about her. Anyway, 17-minute long interview on Majority Report. We'll skip it for now. Fun stuff. I want to talk about God, I need to see some conservatives, some real conservatives. Fox News, DSA, Denver, and New York. Although that was kind of old news. Socialist Millet Kiros defeats incumbent Diana DeGette. So Democratic Socialists target Colorado primaries. Where's the 5? Give me the 5. See what the videos they have. Here we go. A nice 6. Kellyanne Conway. She's on Fox News. Oh, let's go. Dude. Democrats aren't making the tent bigger. Okay, we got some good videos to watch.
Catch fire right now. After New York wins, the next test is tomorrow.
The Faulkner Focus
wins. The next test is tomorrow in Colorado. Incumbent Senator John Hickenlooper faces a challenge from Julie Gonzalez, a state senator aligned with socialists, and Malat Kiros is trying to unseat 15-term Democrat Congresswoman Diana DeGette. Critics say Kiros has crossed the line into Jewish hatred.
You've said that the October 7th massacre of Israeli civilians by Hamas fighters was the, quote, inevitable consequence of apartheid. Can you explain what you meant by that?
Yeah. You know, I think identifying what's happened over the course of these events in Israel and Palestine is inevitable. Israel is a country that has been accused of apartheid and occupation for decades now, and has been able to resist any kind of change.
Yes, the liberal left has said for decades that is true. We see their hatred on full display. So far, there are only a handful of Democrats that publicly oppose the far left agenda of the Democrat socialists. Wow. Others are talking up how inclusive the party is. Come on, socialists, it's warm.
But why can I not see the person who's talking right now? Why is it just a disembodied voice?
I want us to be a Big Tent party. I think that it's actually a sign of a party that is alive and growing.
Bro, my favorite part about Fox News is their commentary that, like, the liberal Democrats aren't doing enough. It's so fucking good. Because at the end of the day, conservatives know they want their Democrats feckless, right? They want them weak, ineffective, kind of just a do-nothing stooge that they can that they can just boss around, and they know how they're going to react. The Republicans want weak Democrats, but it's a sword that cuts both ways, because the weak Democrats that the Republicans are okay with let the Republicans win, but they also let leftists win. They let all of these DSA candidates winning because, you know, they're not fighting for anything. They're not doing anything. And so there is an energy out there that wants change. You're not going to be able to get rid of it. And what do the Republicans do? Well, they got their weak Democrats, and now their weak Democrats are getting usurped by the left flank now. And now that the moderate Dems are getting outflanked by the left, conservatives are like, come on, do something, fight. It's like, you handpicked, you supported all of these people knowing that they're bad at fighting, and now you're getting mad at it. It's very funny. And so they're like, oh, all of these moderate Dems aren't fighting back hard enough. So good.
We are a big tent party focused on the ordinary concerns of everyday Americans.
We've got to have a Big Tent if we want a majority.
One of the things that makes the Democratic Party great is it's a big tent party. We need to stay that way.
Power panel now. Tiffany Smiley, former Republican Senate candidate in Washington and Endeavor PAC founder, and Richard Fowler, Fox News contributor. Great to have you both. Richard, what is it that your party likes about socialism right now?
I don't necessarily think it's a like. I think you have to really zoom in on the voters here.
Well, if you tolerate something, you celebrate
it. Hold on, wait. But Harris, no.
If you tolerate something, you celebrate it. No, those are actually not the same thing. That's why you use two different words to portray two different ideas. If you tolerate something, you celebrate it. This is what Fox News is. This is the level of Fox News.
Millions of people voted in New York, millions of people voted in Virginia, millions of people voted for in New Jersey, and they voted for a reason. They didn't vote because they were afraid of socialism. I think when us in the Beltway and in the media sort of land, we live in socialism of the 1960s, kids doing nuclear bomb raids. In today's America, kids are doing active shooter raids. We're seeing schools that are taking cuts. We're seeing schools that are taking closures. And for a lot of American voters, they're frustrated at the fact that in this building here in Washington, D.C., a block away from our bureau, they're not doing enough to address the real needs of everyday working Americans. The cost of healthcare, cuts happening in schools, the cost of...
Bro, I just looked back at my fucking... I just looked back at this stream, overlay, and that's a horrible lineup. All right, let me move that over a little bit. Let me do it on this person. Okay, I was blindsided. Jesus Christ.
Rent, all being too high, and a Washington, both Democrats and Republicans, that are ignoring the real issues facing everyday Americans.
All right, you start with crime, you start with shooting and all of that, and I want to know, since abolishing police and prisons is something that is, I mean, it's just basic socialism from what Democrats are laying out who float that way. I want to know, how do you address some of the issues? I'm going to come to you, Tiffany. It just doesn't, it's not sensical. Like, how do you attack those things that he just mentioned?
By the way, this is what I love. This is why I love DSA candidates winning that are like, abolish the police, ban prison systems. Because I fucking get turned on when I hear Fox News commentators talking about, oh, leftists want to abolish the police? What? That doesn't even make sense. Dude, I love it so much. I love it when the conversation stops turning into how many fucking immigrants can we kill with our paramilitary police force that Trump is flooding leftist cities in, to now, well, we have to have police, right? We can't abolish all police. I love this conversation being shifted into them defending the very notion of policing.
By taking away the very apparatus that keeps them in place and makes them better.
Yeah, it makes no sense, and there are policies that they will not be able to deliver on. And you look at a lot of the crime is happening in blue cities. The Democrat Party is not a big tent party. They have been hijacked by the Democrat socialists, and we should never count out these Democrat socialists. Harris, what we are seeing in Colorado, what you just explained and laid out, is what I have been talking about for years now, this rise in anti-Semitism.
Who is this
and
person?
really candidates who are anti-America. They want to abolish police. They want to abolish ICE. They want no deportations. They want Medicare for all. They want free grocery stores. In New York, they want buses, and they're going to go faster. There is no way they will be able to deliver on this.
Hold on. We got to rewind it. Or screed.
And Richard, to your point, I have to ask years now, this rise in anti-Semitism and really candidates who are anti-America. They want to abolish police. They want to abolish ICE. They want no deportations. They want Medicare for all. They want free grocery stores. In New York, they want buses, and they're going to go faster. There is no way they will be able to deliver on this. And Richard, to your point, I have to ask, if Democrats are staying silent on this, does this mean that they agree? Does this mean that they are welcoming this into their party?
Bro, they're so mad. Also, I'll never get over Fox News and conservatives listing off the things that DSA candidates want, and they can't say that it's bad, so they just have to say it in a derisive tone and then be like, well, they'll never get it. It's like, okay, so you're not even arguing that those are bad things. You're just like, oh, well, those things won't happen. Well, it won't happen because of conservatives mostly, right? And the moderate Dems that you say are so good. Like, maybe make an argument for why those things are bad rather than just being like, well, they want buses. They live in a fantasy land. It's never going to happen. Bro, these eyes are not the same shape whatsoever, but it's kind of endearing.
Allow me to answer that.
And then also, like, why are you letting that happen in your party? Well, first of all, it's the voters. Second of all, that is the fucking party, bitch. It's not the Democrat Party being usurped by these people. This is the direction that the Democratic Party is going in. It's not like a foreign influence seeping into the Democratic Party's groundwater and tainting them from the ground up.
Point that you made at the top. You said that there's all this crime happening in blue cities. That's apropos to the facts.
Well, there's crime happening all over the country because people migrate. Things happen all over.
But
what I'm saying is you need police, whether it's in Arkansas or California. You need immigration customs.
Back to 1968. The murder rate in Baltimore is lower now than it was in 1968. Same for Chicago, same for New York, same for Washington, D.C. Blue cities where you see blue communities, black and brown people coming together and solving the crime in their cities. If that's what Tiffany's scared of, I don't understand why.
Socialist policies
I don't understand
that are
why.
causing the rise in
Murders
crime in
are
these
down.
cities.
Crime is down.
Not going to work.
Crime is going down. And it's socialist policies that are causing the rise in crime in these cities. What? Crime's going down, but it's socialism that's causing the rise in crime? Like, these people just clearly don't live in reality. I don't know. Like, what we're doing right now is we are examining the rhetorical tactics used by conservatives to freak out about socialists being elected. So far, it's just, I'm going to choose to not live in reality. That's the type of rhetorical choice they're taking. Yeah, this is like a level 100 mafia boss versus a level 1 Mar-a-Lago base person.
Crime is down, though.
So when you go to Chicago and you see the number of young people in particular who were shot in these crimes, dozens of them in a weekend, over and over and over.
But crime
I'm not
is down
saying it only
precipitously in
because it's a
Chicago.
blue city. I let you talk. I'm not saying it's only because it's a blue city.
Tried to be like, well, you're wrong. Like, the statistics show that crime is down in all of these cities. And then she's like, shut up, shut the fuck up. Shut your fucking mouth. Just freaking out over it.
It's in America. We're red, white, and blue. We don't want it to happen anywhere.
Absolutely.
Donald Trump told me personally as he was running, and has said so since, as president of the United States for a second time, crime is something that he's focused on in keeping Americans safe.
Harris,
he'll go to New York.
He'll
go wherever he wants to go to help, and wherever people will have that help.
I can't agree with you more,
So
and we should be willing to
it isn't just
commend
because it's happening,
Brandon
but Chicago
Scott
is
and
a
Brandon
prime
Johnson
example
and Zoran
of
Mamdani
where
for decreasing
I
crime because
literally
their
let you
policies
talk.
are working.
I literally let you talk.
Wow. And you live in Washington, so you know.
Richard.
The crime is down in all those cities.
Tiffany,
like,
go ahead.
Precipitously down.
Yeah, I think there's a bigger issue at play. So these candidates who are taking over the party, they want to abolish police, they want to abolish ICE. They also, some of them have even said that murderers shouldn't even have to go to prison. No deportations. Doesn't matter if you're illegal, doesn't matter if you're a murderer, no deportations. They're playing on the emotions. And they're trying to talk about policies that they will never be able to deliver.
Oh, heavens forbid a politician play on the emotions. What do you think conservatism is? It's a movement built off of aggrievement politics. It's the emotions of fuck you. That's what conservatism is. They're playing on the emotions. Bro, this might be the most egregious thing I've heard a conservative say.
Or if they do get a foothold, it will destroy our cities from the inside out. We know that socialism
Crime is down. Crime is down in all of these blue cities. And it's socialism that made crime rise. We know that if socialism gets in, they're going to murder everyone. Well, crime's actually down, and there's a socialist leading New York. Well, if a socialist gets in, they're going to murder everyone. They just have nothing to say.
Will harm more people than it benefits.
All right, I'll meet you anytime in Chicago, Richard, and we can pray for the victims in
take the mayor
serious
of Chicago
crime
with
and
us,
get that mayor to stop saying we don't need more police.
He will show you that crime is down.
Literally cuts him off. Holy shit, dude. I can't believe it. Like, they're literally just running away from the truth. I've never seen Fox News run this hard away from the truth, cutting someone off mid-sentence of factually proving them wrong. They're like, you exist off of emotions. Now let me hide my head in the sand as you say the exact opposite of the thing that I was saying, except you're actually, you're actually stabilized in truth from the terms that you're using.
And as Kellyanne Conway, former senior counselor to President Trump, Fox News contributor. Kellyanne, Milat's been working toward her PhD at the School of Public Affairs at the University of Colorado in Denver. And it says that her interest is studying the efficacy of reparations, universal basic income, and regulatory reform for environmental equity, et cetera, et cetera.
Sounds like a perfect person to carry the Democratic banner in today's day and age, Laura. Look, it would be funny, but it's really scary. And I think we need to take all these people seriously.
Really scary.
Because when you have low turnout like you did last week in New York, 17%, you get those rich, white, liberal folks with some kind of grievance against this country to come out really hurting working class. I think Vice President Vance, in that excellent interview you did with him, Laura, was spot on when he said, look, you're hurting Black and brown and Hispanic people when you do this, when you drive them out of our cities. But Diana DeJette and people like her, they're fascinating. They just hope that you'll never notice them.
Keep their head low.
Kamala Harris won this congressional district by 56 points. So she's like, just vote the party line. She thought it'd be enough to be for men and women's sports, to vote against tax cuts, to vote against dereg, to vote against energy.
That poor Wiener out in San Francisco.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I just thought if I can say these crazy things, you're not crazy enough for your party now. You have to go for reparations and Medicare.
I love how mad they are at the moderate Dems.
But we should pay close attention. We should be educating not just younger people. I'm tired of that. Everyone. About the dangers and perils of socialism. Contrast that to capitalism, optimism, patriotism. We're on the cusp of America's 250. Remind people what a beautiful, wonderful country it is and why our freedoms prevail.
And all the former residents of Soviet countries.
They want to be here.
I mean, everybody's coming. South America is turning away from socialism. And, these people are reverting to socialism. That has never, ever worked. But to the vice president's point, education is what matters.
Yes.
As long as they have a stranglehold on our education for our children, it's hard to break these chains.
And we know education has become indoctrination. We're also all paying for it. I think one of the
Literally just arguing for re-education camps. That's what conservatives are doing right now.
many wonderful things President Trump has done in his 2 terms, Laura, is push back on what these universities get from taxpayers. It's one of the greatest things he's done because it's also just exposed how they waste our money. Congress isn't the only one wasting our money, spending money we don't have on things we don't need. It's also our universities. But the more we can expose that, the better. Look, it starts young. School choice is all about parents having a say of where their children go to school and what is taught there.
Oh, she's fucking slurring her words. Like, put this person in a rehab center. Why is she on Fox News? She's just arguing. Like, dude, Fox News has just ran away so hard from the truth that their main message now is conservative parents. You have to indoctrinate your children into being conservative. That's what it is. That's all that they're saying.
Shouldn't lose that type of say when your children go to college.
Yeah, well, the new immigrant experience isn't what it was really when you and I saw the new immigrants. Just various people come when we were kids. It was all about loving the country, coming into the country. That's got to go back
Learning
to
the language, assimilating.
Absolutely.
Kneeling for the Lord, standing for the flag. Look at the FIFA. Look at the World Cup fans. They're loving capitalism. They don't want to go back to socialism.
All right, Kellyanne,
so now
thank
you
you
like
very
immigrants.
much. Happy 4th, happy 250th birthday to the country.
Happy 4th. All right, one more Fox News clip, and then we'll call it for Fox News at least.
China power!
When we fight,
We win!
when we fight,
We win!
Some commie chants echoing through New York's ever-expanding commie corridor. The 3 Democratic socialists who swept the Big Apple holding a rally earlier as the Democratic Party rolls out a big red welcome mat.
Whatever
Drunk equity
labels
inclusion.
you want to attach to it, whatever she said, I believe that we've got to understand that Big Tent means Big Tent.
I'm not afraid of new members or new ideas in the party. I welcome it.
That friction, although it might make for good, press, it's part of being in a coalition.
The reality is we have an unsettled electoral environment, which is going to be the case when Donald Trump is president.
Okay, that was Hakeem preemptively blaming President Trump if the socialist surge takes Colorado next. Radical candidate Melat Kiros looks to ride the commie wave into Congress by unseating a longtime Democratic incumbent, which may be difficult given she thinks Israel deserved October 7th and America deserved 9/11.
You said that the October 7th massacre of Israeli civilians by
some
Hamas
traction.
fighters was the, quote, inevitable consequence of apartheid. Can you
Certain conditions lead people to feeling like violence is their only answer.
Yeah,
was
how's it
9/11
going?
an inevitable consequence for America based on U.S. foreign policy?
Inevitable in the sense that we destabilized a lot of the Middle East, that forced people to believe that another act of violence was the only response.
How you doing over there, Harold? Good?
My nose is running.
Okay, I'm going to go to you next. Dana, so this woman doesn't really have a job.
Nope. Well, I mean, that's another. Look.
Well, she just won her primary.
Start looking
She's in
at the
Congress.
jobs
None of
or
them
the
have jobs.
schooling that a lot of the DSA candidates have had. Again, they sound exactly alike. They use the same cadence. They have the same language. They have studied.
Yeah, we fucking get it. They're educated. Like, this is the only thing they have is like, oh, these people are smart. It's like I hesitate to say it's idiocracy because in idiocracy, the idiots recognize that the smart person could actually help their country. In this, they're like, oh, they're smart. Let's kill them with a rock. I don't know. There has to be some kind of media out there that I missed where they're just like, the dumb people get a rock and they just club the smart people over the head with it.
They work together. They are super organized that way. What Hakeem is doing, and the rest of the Democrats that are doing is they're not making the tent bigger. They're making it more narrow. And the way that that's happening is that the Democrat socialists are using the Democratic Party in order to figure out a way. Okay, so let's figure out a way. We can take these voters and we can muscle in. And then, like, for example, Graham Plattner today, this guy, He is trashing Chuck Schumer up one side and down the other. And then today he says, but I need help because I don't have enough money and you have to help me. And so then Hakeem and Chuck Schumer are going to be in this position. Do they support them? Are they going to cave and probably do that? And when look at the incumbent.
Are they going to cave? What the fuck are you talking about? If one Democrat's like, hey, I need money from, I don't know, Congress, or what was Graham Plattner saying that he needed money from the DNC to help his campaign? First of all, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries don't run the DNC. It's whoever the chair of the DNC is that would give money to Graham Plattner's campaign. If we're talking about need actual policies and they need funding for their policies in their states or whatever, then it's not caving to help a member of your party and help their constituency. It's not just like it's not caving to have FEMA help like North Carolina or whatever when a conservative state needs help from a natural disaster. What the fuck are we talking about right now? Dude, this is insane. Oh, they trashed Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. So it's caving for the Democratic National Committee to give money to Graham Plattner's campaign.
That they're throwing out of office. Goldman from last week and
Oh yeah,
and the guy we talked about yesterday.
Honestly, Fox News does need to be shut down. It totally does. Just the insane lying that they do all the time. It's ridiculous.
Well, he's not thrown out, but getting attacked in California. It's not like they are moderate Democrats. They are hardcore progressives. But what's the one issue
hardcore progressives
that they're not solid on that these socialists care about the most? And it's Israel and Jewish people. And they are anti-Semitic. And that is the strain that is driving it. And if Hakeem and Chuck don't believe that accepting these people into the big tent doesn't mean exactly what they're trying to do, they're going to have a rough road of it, regardless if Trump's here or not.
You know, 20, even 10 years ago, Greg, if you had a member of Congress who's running on America kind of deserved 9/11, I mean, she wouldn't get anywhere near Congress.
She seems like she was doing you a favor by answering it. 9/11. I seem to remember that. But I mean, the big tent except
keep in mind this guy Greg Gutfeld is Fox News. Fox News's resident comedic genius.
Accepting these people, it's like a tree saying termites. It
looks
welcome.
like a golem.
You know, in order to have a tent, you got to have boundaries. The tent itself is a boundary. If everyone is welcome, including the people who wish to destroy you, then what is the point of a tent? It is organizations and groups.
This is so interesting to me because they're going after. They're either like, I don't know, saying socialists are going to murder everyone and running away from reality, or they are going after moderate Democrats and saying you need to kick these people out of your party, which is so funny because it's like, you know, if you think that these people are going to be electoral poison and they're never going to win a general election, especially in states that are purple or whatever, then you should be encouraging the Democrats to get these people into their party. You should be like, yes, give me more Zorons, give me more Melat Kuroses. I want so much progressives because the Americans hate these people. They hate these hardcore progressives. They know they're socialists. America's totally for capitalism. But what are they saying? They're saying, we need to get the moderate Democrats to clean house and kick all of these progs out of their party. And they're also, Kelly fucking Ann Conway's arguing for re-education camps for Americans. Like, unironically, just being like, yeah, I'm tired of saying that we only need to educate children. We need to educate adults, too, about this shit.
Families, they're not just defined by who you are, but who you aren't. We do have certain rules to keep people in and out of things, and sometimes that goes crazy, but we do have, you know, somewhere along the line, boundaries were made a sign of bigotry. But there's a reason for intolerance. You know, You do not tolerate bare feet in a restaurant. You do not tolerate grown men in the Girl Scouts. You do not tolerate the obese in the military. I can't be a Harlem Globetrotter, and I can dunk. So does the party have a right to welcome anyone when it affects everyone else in that group?
You don't tolerate obese in the military? Bro, what the fuck is going on with conservatives? You don't tolerate grown men in Boy Scouts? Holy shit, this is so fucking funny.
Realistic example, you invite a male rapist into a women's shelter. It satisfies your virtue signal. It's a big tent. But then a woman gets raped and murdered.
What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking? Well, how did you go from being like, you know, voters voted for these policies and they are in the same party as Democrats that don't represent these policies? That means it's a big tent. To now you're like, oh, well, if you want a big tent in politics, you should have a big tent everywhere. Why not expand your house so it includes the road? Then a car would drive through it and it would break your house. That's not good for anyone. Why not have a goldfish tank that takes up your entire living room? Then you have to watch TV while sitting in the underwater castle. That's not fun for anyone. Like, dude, holy shit, you're supposed to be the comedic genius and you're like, I mean, I guess his funniest joke was obese people are not tolerated in the military. Holy shit. You're like, you want big tent in politics, thus you want a big tent for everything? This is what he's saying? The fuck? I don't know. Use your own imagination for other funny examples of what he's saying.
This is what happened in New York. So again, boundaries exist so the thing survives. And if you say we're going,
holy Christ, he's literally talking about the concept of boundaries in general to say that because boundaries are a good idea, because boundaries like contribute to things positively in some scenarios, we should have boundaries in politics that exclude progressives. Like, this is the most Republican thing I've ever heard.
Going to let these people in who are openly saying they want to destroy America. You're an accessory to the crime. And it isn't a big tent. Like, you're right. There's no pro-lifers. There's no pro-Second Amendment people.
You just spent the entire fucking talking point saying how it is a big tent and there are no boundaries. And then you just undercut your entire point by saying, well, it's not a big tent. Bro, holy Christ. Why are Fox News people so insufferable?
It's like a tent with an open flap. And the flap is facing the direction of basically anti-patriotic, anti-Americanism. It's interesting that they call.
Wow, almost like that's the direction the party's moving in. And the whole concept of big tent is fucking bullshit. I've never heard of a stupider concept than a big tent party. No, there are voters that vote for candidates, and the candidates get elected into the party, and then they try to make their policies that they ran on into the real thing. Oh my God. It's a big tent, but it doesn't include pro-lifers. Yeah, because Republicans don't include pro-lifers. Like, Republican voters want abortion.
Call themselves Democrat socialists because you could never envision Republican
I'm going to get
socialists.
dementia if I listen to
if
this.
Somebody said I'm a Republican socialist, you go, no, that's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Why can you envision a Democrat socialist? What does that tell you? Something about the Democrats.
Tells us the Republicans
Harold.
are ass.
Harold, your name was invoked.
So I am as repulsed and disgusted by this young lady's comments, not as much or as much.
Let me guess. Is he a Zionist?
Because I think she wants to be a member of my party or claims to be a member of my party. As it is, I think she doesn't understand that if she honestly believes what she just said there about we deserved it, she is saying that a group of people who wouldn't allow her to speak the way she's speaking on television, they would kill her. A group of people who wouldn't allow her to dress the way she wants to dress, think the way she wants to think, gain the jobs that try to gain a job like she wants to gain.
She literally got fired from her job. for speaking her mind. You guys are advocating for her to be sent into re-education camps. This is the same group of people that you're describing right now. Holy Christ, man. You can't say this about Melat Kuros when she literally got fired from her job for speaking her mind about Israel. We're in an authoritarian country.
And then criticize the state as she has. I think these people, Greg, who want to be a part of our tent, I call it the American tent first, and the Republican and Democrat tents are in that big tent. And we may differ on things, but we don't differ on what's fundamental about our country. Kayla and I had a conversation, a debate about what the 14th Amendment. We didn't have a conversation about what America meant and whether or not we deserve to have people come to our country and destroy it. For anyone to call themselves a Democrat who believes that America deserved 9/11, and she's able to say that in a country that she's defending a group of people who wouldn't allow her to say what she's saying, who wouldn't allow her to be.
Who is she defending? Who is she? You're trying to not allow her to say the things that she's saying right now. Oh my God. Ice be creaming all over the U.S.
Be the person that she wants to be and achieve and accomplish the things that she's accomplished. I said it the other day and I'll say it again. They offer no answers. There's nothing constructive. We're the most dynamic, the most innovative, the most creative group of people.
They are not being very constructive. Why? We're fucking awesome. You're not trying to improve people's conditions at all. Literally advocating for Medicare for all, for investments in infrastructure, better public transportation, better childcare, better healthcare, wealth redistribution so people can actually live their lives, better housing policies and programs. You're not being very constructive. Dude, the Republican Party is literally a party of destruction, a social decay. Like, it's like a cancer on this country. And this guy's sitting here hobnobbing it up with Republicans, the Democrats, sure, whatever. We'll see how long he remains a Democrat as the socialism surge takes over the party. And he's going to sit there and be like, the socialists aren't being constructive. They literally got voted into office for being constructive.
Economic system and economy in the world. At every point in each of the last few centuries, several centuries, America has faced a challenge to whom we are, where people felt excluded. The answer can't be to burn it down. That's what these people are saying. The answer was, how do we work from within with all the tools and assets and resources we have to make the country better? That's what we ought to be doing. And for those whom are not, and those who want to come.
What the fuck? She's literally advocating for, like, better healthcare for people, better infrastructure for people, better social safety nets for people. When did she say she wants to burn down America? Oh, get rid of the two-party system? Oh, heavens forbid. What else? Get money out of politics? Oh my God, I'm gonna, like, commit seppuku on her doorstep. Well, like, this guy just, I mean, he's on Fox News. He says he's a Democrat. Also, not in reality. This is what I'm talking about when I say that liberals are teaming up with the conservatives to, like, piss their pants over this.
To the Democratic Party, there has to be a little bit of an admission fee. And that fee has to be, you understand that the country is great, and our job is to try to make it greater, not burn it down.
Well said, Harold.
Yay.
Taylor.
Harold is absolutely correct. But the problem is that there are not enough Democrats that are saying what Harold is saying. I mean, when you look to book Democrats calling this out on your show, as I did last Saturday, you got James Carville, you got Senator John Fetterman. You've got 13 House Democrats that signed a letter supporting Pride in America.
One geriatric fuck who knows that his time has come. And John Fetterman. Enough said. Speaking of James Carville, I heard he wrote a manifesto or something. Or no, he didn't. James Carville. Let's see. DSA wins. Here we go. The Guardian. Backlash from centrist Democrats as Democratic Socialist candidates sweep primaries. Chair of the Democratic National Committee, Jamie Harrison, speaks during a rally for Kamala Harris in Reno, Nevada on October 31st. After a string of DSA primary victories, the loudest response from much of the Democratic establishment's old guard was not reconciliation, but escalation. Over the last few days, prominent party figures who have moved away from unifying under a blue no matter who banner. Bro, I fucking love The Guardian. They are hilarious. To push for a more formal break with their left flank, and said the moment may have arrived for Democrats to confront their more socialist wing. I actually do think it's time for Democrats to talk the S-word schism, James Garville, the veteran Democratic strategist and former Bill Clinton advisor, said on his podcast. He has a podcast? Oh my God, I need to call into that if he takes phone calls. He added that some DSA-aligned candidates have no place in the Democratic Party and of the broader coalition. I'm not in that fucking political party. Okay. James Garville, I'm not in that party. Fox News. Do you have the clip? You have the clip.
And I have the quote right here. I'll get to it. She is against pass off all her views. She has attacked interracial relationships in the American flag. Lady, I ain't in the same party as you. I'm sorry. I just not. And I actually do think it's time for Democrats to talk the S word, schism.
I'm not in that party as you. And his podcast co-host Al Hunt lamented a recent primary win. Who did they lament? The candidate Daraliza Avila Chevalier was one of the three candidates. Hunt suggested that they may complicate the politically existential question of winning in November. Harville and Hunt agreed that Republicans are overplaying. I have the quote right here. I'll get to it. She has attacked interracial relationships and the American flag. Daraliza attacked interracial relationships? Oh my God, the rabbit hole grows deeper. Lady, I ain't in the same party as you, and I'm sorry. Dude, okay, hold on. Interracial relationships are bad. Daraliza, interracial relation. Yeah, fucking hell. Chips. Tweet, delete, repeat. Social media post overview. Is the New York Times going to make me spend money? Let's see. Ah. Rah. Ex-Mom Donnie campaign leader running for Congress has history of racist remarks against white women. Oh. Once ridiculing them as ugly colonizer women. Black men, handshake emoji, Arab men, fetishizing ugly colonizer women. That's what the guy said she attacked interracial relationships for? Daraliza. I mean, it's a pretty cool name. Chevalier. Black men, handshake emoji, Arab men, fetishizing ugly colonizer women, the post stated. Bro, how old was she when she posted that, though? Seriously. She also boasted about slamming the door on an old white lady. I held the door on an old white lady at Popeyes. Her, is that a BDS shirt? Me, yes, she wrote, referring to the boycott, divestment, sanctions campaign. Her, do you know what they do? Door closed before I could find out what she do. Dude, this is like just against Zionists. What are we talking about? District 13, which encompasses Harlem, is 24% black, 17% white, and 50% Hispanic. The lefty firebrand. Okay, here we go. This is her quote, or this is her tweet. Sade impersonator. The lefty firebrand committed to abolishing prisons and legalizing prostitution and the private consumption of all drugs, according to her DSA candidate questionnaire. I'm an abolitionist and oppose reform that entrenches the expansion of the carceral state. I will support steps that reduce its impact and support reforms that meaningfully address the root causes of harm in our communities. through prevention as well as reparative and restorative justice programs. The socialists also called for government-run farm cooperatives, reminiscent of the farm programs of Stalin and Mao. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. Black men, Arab men fetishizing ugly colonizer women. Bro, this was fucking set like 7 years ago. She was 23 when she made this post. Are we serious right now? Like, a fucking 23-year-old posting this shit on Twitter, and this is what James Carville gets his panties in a bunch over? Also, like, it's a pretty fucking, it's a funny post, right? Like, are we mad at this? The federal government should create government-run agricultural cooperatives. Also, like, she didn't even say that she's wants to abolish, like, destroy the prison state. She said that she's going to support steps to reduce its footprint and also oppose measures to expand the prison state. Oh no! Tell me about the time when she joined a pro-Palestine rally on October 8th, 2023. Chevalier also helped lead the Tentifada encampments on the school grounds that terrorized Jewish students. Oh my goodness! Which led to a Trump administration lawsuit. I held the door open for this old white lady at Popeyes. Her centipede. Dude, this isn't even racist. She just said an old white lady. How is that racist at all? Or is that a BDS shirt? Yes. You know what they do. Door closed before I could find out what they do. Chevalier claims she converted to Islam, headed by radical Sheikh Fadel al-Salani, who has denied the Holocaust and praised Hamas's barbaric October 7th attacks. Okay, who cares? The political newcomer outraised her opponent 270,000 to 230,000. Chevalier, who is running on a platform calling for the abolition of immigration customs enforcement. She even criticized Socialist Senator Bernie Sanders for not being pro-Palestine enough. Wow. Criticized Bernie Sanders? That's crazy. Who says this? Political analyst and professor at Mount St. Vincent, J.C. Polanco, told the Post, if every other word you use in a sentence isn't colonizer, you're not going to do well in the Democratic primary. Talk about black and Arab men with this terminology is terrible, he added. Dude, it's literally a fucking post she made when she was 23. What are the comments? If busing proved anything in the 70s, it wasn't that changing the environment didn't really improve them. What the fuck? What? I wish that someone would develop an app that tells you the demographics of people at events. Fuck. What? Who's commenting this shit? When I'm planning to go to the beach, I want to see how many black people are there. That's literally what you're commenting on the New York Post. Dude, who the fuck are these people? This is scary. This someone needs to remake the movie Obsession, but do it like about racist people, because this is insane. You're commenting on the fucking New York Post. Oh, before I go to the beach, I need to see how many black people are at the beach. Someone make an app for that. We've reached the ultimate stage of insanity where some people are held responsible for things that happened before they were born, while others are not held responsible for what they themselves are doing today. Hey. And you're in favor of Israel's genocide in Palestine? Notice to all New York residents who are not on food stamps, gather your loved ones and leave now before it's too late. This is not a drill. Like, dude, it's just like poor people going to the meat grinder. That's what conservative politics is. Anyway, she bemoans where were we? Oh yeah, James Carville. She bemoans interracial relationships. Where's his fucking where's his podcast? And she doesn't like the American flag.
She is against pass off all her views. She has attacked interracial relationships in the American flag. Lady, I ain't in the same party as you. I'm sorry. They're just not. And I actually do think it's time for Democrats to talk the S word, schism. I really do. Everybody's always said, no, we're coalition, we're big tent. And there's just some that I can't be in the same tent with.
One socialist wins election, James Carville. Time to break off from the party. Anyway, where were we? What were we reading? How did we get onto this? Dude, I actually fucking forgot what I was looking at. Carville, I think we can just shut this. Oh, yeah. We were reading this Guardian article. I have no place in the Democratic Party. I'm not in that fucking political party. Jamie Harrison, the former chair of the Democratic National Committee, directed a pointed message at candidates running under the party's banner while openly criticizing its direction. I say this with no ill will or animosity. If you hate the Democratic Party, then please don't run for a nomination. Because he knows that you're going to get the nomination. Don't use our resources. Okay, come on. We need to look this up. This is a former chair of the DNC? Jamie Harrison? Oh. Jamie Harrison, Twitter. I don't know why they don't just like put the posts in the article. Why do you always have to editorialize it? Oh yeah, this is the guy that they showed in their picture. Congratulations to State Rep Manny Ruttenell on your hard-earned victory. Mega extremist Gabe Evans is a central architect for the Medicaid cuts causing pain for Colorado families. Right. He posted, manuscript draft is officially in the hands of the publisher. Now the waiting begins. I hope you all are ready for chair with no table. Let's just say there are a few stories folks aren't. He's writing a book. He has a book deal that he's promoting. Holy shit, this guy posts a lot. For years, one party has controlled every... All right, we can't read every single post that he does. Get to know my friend Annie Andrews. Show me your post. Where did you post it? Reminder. Will be missed. Every volunteer matters. Like oh, here, we get into the argument. Oh, he's getting down and dirty on Twitter. Let's go. Singles make you oh, the race is now toss up. Dude, he's fighting on Twitter. What a loser. Honestly, like, dude, the only discourse lower than Twitter discourse is like YouTube comment section arguments. That's my opinion. Yup. So at Harrison, Jamie is absolutely right in what he said. Where did he say it? Why did he tweet so much? Try to find the... I guess it could control F it. Oh, yeah, here we go. June 23rd, almost a week ago. Actually, exactly a week ago. I say... Okay. I say this with no ill will or animosity. If you hate the Democratic Party, then please don't run for our nomination. Don't use our resources. Don't rely on our volunteers. Don't rely on our volunteers? Bitch, shut the fuck up. People volunteer for these DSA candidates because of their policies that they're running on, because of the fact that they hate the Democratic Party. Don't ask Democrats to invest their time, money, and energy in your campaign. Dude, this is flabbergasting. Like, my mouth is agape because of this. Focus on building the party you actually support. What do you think they're doing right now? They're taking over your party, dumbass. They're turning it into a party they support. Political parties aren't perfect, but they're built by millions of people who knock doors, make calls, organize meetings, and fight for the values they believe in. If you don't believe in the party, then don't ask for its members to carry you across the finish line. And let me be clear, I don't care if you're progressive, moderate, or conservative. I've worked with Democrats across the ideological spectrum. We didn't always agree, but we understood that building a stronger Democratic Party was part of the job. If you hate the party, spend your days attacking it and have contempt for all the people who make it possible, then see above. Dude, this party's so fucking cooked. And it's why we need people like Melat Kiros, like Chevalier to reform this party, like Zoran Mamdani to completely reform this party, because we have fucking whiny little bitches like Jamie Harrison that complains that, well, I don't care about your ideology, but the fact that you criticize the lackluster effort that the establishment Dems have put into resisting fascism, that's too far for me. Go fuck yourself. Let's go. Now, we get into the debates on Twitter. All right. So then he gets into a bunch of arguments. Look, this is a DSA co-chair. Let me summarize what he says in this video. We're using the Democratic Party as a ballot access vehicle, not because we share its goals. We build our own organization. Get elected under the Democratic label, caucus with Democrats when it's useful. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, why would they not do that? Like, that's what every single candidate does. They use the Democratic Party because their policies and their voting base more closely aligns with what the candidate wants to run on. That's what every single politician does ever. All right. What else do we got? Any other like juicy fights here? Since yesterday it was only about people who hate the party, but today it's someone who rationally explains why he doesn't agree with the party. Since we are using football analogies, it's like joining a football team because it's the only way to get on the field. You put on the what the fuck is he talking about? You put on the jersey, but you spend every day telling everyone the team is terrible, the coach is awful, and the organization deserves to lose. Then, when it's your turn to carry the ball, you expect those same teammates to block for you. Wouldn't you want to, like, try to win, though? Like, you're criticizing the bad players to hopefully get better players or get them to improve. If you're on the team, then be on the team. Oh, God. Y'all keep thinking it's ideological for me. It isn't. Our party is socialists, progressives, new Dems, blue dogs, moderates, and everything in between. I've worked with all of them. Hell, I ran the House Democratic whip operation with 90 progressives. All right, shut up. That's not my beef. My question is simple. Are you working constructively to make the party better, or are you just there to piss all over it? Dude, oh my God. A little fucking Twitter meltdown from the chair of the DNC. At least in 2024. Former chair, thank Christ. Now he, WWE fan. Now you can just sit down and shut up. You little wannabe pro wrestler. He's doing all of these like stylings on people on Twitter, thinking that he's coming off as a huge star. And then the audience will cheer for me and I'll smack a chair over his head. The recent results in NYC were the latest in a run of DSA-aligned wins that have spanned the primary calendar. Earlier this cycle, progressives claimed victories in Maine, New Jersey, California, Philadelphia. The DSA has endorsed about 150 candidates, according to an analysis by the Washington Examiner, with 35 either winning primaries or advancing without opposition and races stretching across Oregon. Hey, that's a pretty good rate. 150 candidates and 35 are winning primaries. Like what, 20%? Rahm Emanuel, the former Chicago mayor and White House chief of staff, offered a structural diagnosis. What the socialist wing has decided to do is turn blue districts dark blue. Told CNN, arguing the Democrats had broadly lost the plot. I mean, fair enough. If you're just making it easier for Democrats to win in already blue districts, then why are Democrats complaining about it? If you're, and this is what I heard. This is what I hear a lot too. It's like, oh, well, this is only working in dark blue districts. So you're saying that the most Democratic districts are electing socialists. That means that Democrats want socialists. When there's none of this outside influence of, like, I don't know, independents or conservatives that you're trying to win. The Democratic Party wants socialists. On the organizational front, group of House Dems aligned with a new centrist initiative launched in the immediate aftermath of the Democratic Socialist victories framed the wins as a reputational liability. This should not be the face of our party, the group declared, positioning the effort explicitly as a corrective to the party's direction. The data, however, offers a more complicated picture of where the Democratic base actually stands. Fox News poll in March showed that 49% of all registered voters, 72% of Democrats, describe capitalism as working not very or not at all well. 60% of independents as well. CNN data analyst Harry Enton pointed to a poll from Marquette Law School that found that the DSA now holds higher favorability than sitting congressional Democrats from Democratic voters and leaders themselves. In his segment, Enton summarized it by saying, simply put, they're more popular than the Dems currently in charge. Yeah, obviously. Like, people fucking hate their lives. Not doing well. Anyway, that's pretty funny. So what is this? It's the a group of House Democrats aligned with a new centrist initiative. What is it? Third Way? "13 Democratic House members." A Facebook article. Reddit r/Oregon. 13 Democratic House members and candidates announced their support for a centrist initiative aimed at pushing back against the party's tilt towards democratic socialism. Nice. Texas, North Carolina, Arizona, New York, New Hampshire, Michigan, Texas, North Carolina. Hey? Bro, do I need to fucking do this? Look. Come on. Why can't I just create it? Something went wrong. Well, what's Facebook post? Why is it only the Washington Post has the story? Newsweek.
Endorsement of Hakeem Jeffries.
Trump on Zoran. Signing on to a new centrist initiative called Promise to America, which vows to reject socialism and bring back strong borders, capitalism, and patriotism. Yeah, this is such loser shit, man. Oh, we're going to reject communism and we're going to embrace capitalism and strong borders and patriotism as the candidates that, you know, are socialist are winning in landslides.
Well, they're going radical left. They're going really, you know, you talk about the Democrat socialists. You took really, it's really communist. That's these people. I watched that woman last night. That's not a socialist. I know socialists. That woman is a communist. And you know what they don't say is that I was 16-0 last night. But mine were a little more boring, a little more mainstream. They were Republican conservatives. But we were 16-0. And if you look over the last 2.5 years, we're about 347 and just about 0. That's pretty good. But nobody writes that.
Here.
Okay.
Washington, D.C.
All right, I do want to check in on Hutch because I think he's hilarious. Okay. Fuck. How long have I been going? 2.5 hours. Empty brain. All right, hold on. We gotta. I'm gonna look this up, but
Hassan Piker
Look at this fucking guy. His YouTube channel is called Slop Roach. The H3 podcast is posting it, and they're like, please, 377 upvotes. So like, please, Ethan Klein, react to this guy. Look at this video. Oh my god, this guy's channel is disgusting.
Hasan Piker is one of the most famous voices of the progressive left. He's constantly hailed as a progressive darling and quote-unquote woke bae by the media. He even has a legion of fangirls who will defend his every action no matter how bad it is. However, when you look into Hasan's past or even present for more than just a few seconds, what you'll find is a man who has a vast history of misogyny, and you'll come to realize all this woke virtue signaling he does is nothing but performative. Hasan Piker is a complete sex pest who will very often disregard the idea of consent in many circumstances, and also has had some
Hasan Piker has raped 300 women personally.
Very suspicious sexual encounters that really should be investigated further. Some of the examples I show in this video might be more borderline or just walking the line between genuine misogyny and just offensive jokes. However, keep in mind that Hasan constantly accuses others of being incels or misogynists for mundane things.
If you were a 100-pound woman, would you be getting this treatment? Yeah, I think so. Because who do people hate on the internet the most? Women. Like, women are the #1 op. All of the people that hate me also automatically hate women in general.
Pragmata, it's making thousands of people suddenly want to start a family. You place Hugh as soldier, stranded on a ruined lunar research station. His job is protecting the childlike android Diana while fighting rogue AI. What's really interesting about this is all of these unfuckable losers in the gaming sphere always talk about like starting families and stuff.
Keep this in mind going forward. As you will see, when we apply Hasan's broad definition of misogyny to him, he's one of the
All right, anyway, who cares? Who cares about this loser? I just think it's funny. How many views? 97,000 views? Holy Christ. Five days, 38.7. Damn, bro. The fucking anti-Hasan industrial complex goes pretty hard. All right, look at this.
Then she'd already be operating from a slight advantage. It would only help her. Wow. Have we already gone there? This is of all the races tonight, this is the one I had the least idea of what to expect. You know, this is if you're Chevalier, if you're Mamdani, we just got something. Oh, wow, it was very big for Chevalier. This must have been Manhattan. What was it, though?
Yeah, we got another 4,000 votes. We got another 1,200 out of the Bronx as well.
Oh, my God.
In New York, Chevalier 57, 38.
To 38? Mm-hmm. Holy cow. Okay. And in the Bronx, let me
oh, my God, dude.
She's what that update looked like was...
SB.
Holy shit. She's not only winning, she's fucking crushing it.
Right on what it's been, 86%. Again,
Mamdani fucked us!
Much smaller area to begin with, and SBI's running out of opportunities. 86% of the vote right there. Still a quarter of the vote to come, and Chevalier just got a massive, relatively speaking, a massive update.
Hutch. I saw your mouse hover over the suicide button right here. The fucking different. He fucking like pulls up the menu, clicks suicide when Chevalier wins.
Massive, relatively.
Look, his mouse fucking hovers over the suicide option.
Speaking, a massive update in her favor. She just won that last update essentially by 20 points over Espaillat, meaning district-wide. More than
they are gonna have a fucking field day. Do you like Fox News right now, you guys?
More than
right now. There's like a Slack channel of like a dozen Fox News producers, and they're all like gearing up for fucking 24/7 coverage of this lunatic.
Yeah, I love it. I love that his only reaction is like, well, Fox News is going to say they're a lunatic. Bro, they call everyone they called Joe Biden a communist. They said that Kamala Harris like fucking hated America. What the hell are you talking about? When does Fox News not have 24/7 coverage over the liberal candidates that they hate? Like, dude, do you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself? What do you? Oh my God! Just fucking be happy that a candidate that stands for good progressive values won the election. Just be happy. I can't imagine being a liberal and having this much angst all the time about like good things happening.
It is going to be a fucking salvo in conservative media.
Oh, this candidate makes my party look bad. I can't deal with it. This candidate, the conservatives are going to say that this candidate is a bad person.
About this candidate, you guys. She's going to win. I mean, like, she's going to Congress. This is a done deal.
So she's going to Congress, then why do you care? Why do you care if they're running attack ads against her? You don't have the argument about electability anymore. You don't have that argument.
But pretty much every update that we have been seeing here, I think is the kind that if you're...
Oh, Fox News is going to run ads against her. Cry me a river, haha. Oh, God.
Go with that.
We're defeated.
Call her MK. That's just easier to remember. This is just this is a Star Wars name. Let's be honest. This is a name.
This is a Star Wars name. Isn't she is she Somali? Is that where she's from? It's a Star Wars name. When you don't see like an obviously white person name, this is from Star Wars. Bro, if this is from Star Wars, you're like the fucking guy that Jabba the Hutt keeps in his closet that cleans his his rolls out. Like when he wants to take a bath, you get a scrub brush and you like, you know, get in all of the nooks and crannies because you know you can slip in there well.
Of just some extra character in some saloon, you know. In the Star Wars.
Oh my God, Hutch is such good commentary. I can't believe it, dude. His commentary about how Mela Kuros is a Star Wars character. Yeah,
force in American politics. They got a long way to go. It's not impossible. Not impossible, but this is all kind of a part of their plan. Like they were very outward facing in public about their plan. Their plan during this cycle was to run the numbers up in safe blue seats as much as possible and then build off of that. And so we'll see what happens in 2028. We'll see if they can expand their ranks then and kind of beat their old record of 6. It's possible. It's definitely possible, but they got a long way to go, man. Are they all House members besides Bernie? Bernie is not DSA. So the only DSA members that we're going to have in the next Congress are going to be Rashida Tlaib, AOC, Chris Rabb, Malat Kiros. Fuck. Who were the ones last week, guys? I'm already forgetting. DAC and Claire Valdez. That's the 6.
All right. Anyway, yeah, obviously. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna call it for now. Fun though. Got to try to do this more often. Yeah, DSA victories. Whoopee. All right. Here, let's see. Quick. Well. We gotta look at the. I don't know. That face is like needs work. And then lastly, what do we think about this? The banner, the U, whoops up. The U, whoops up, comes around. L. What do we think? That's not bad, right? We have that one. This one where it's like a U here and an L down there. I don't know. That one's not that thing. Could be cool. A bubble text type of way. Or like a U and then the L slots down underneath. I don't know. Looks like pixel art of Plum JD fans. Yeah. It does kind of looks like it kind of looks like like Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now. All right. Anyway, talk to you all later. Peace. Have a good rest of your day. I'm out of here.